Oh, well, well, well. It's Thursday, guys, May 4th, the show before the show. Um, Ready to get things started is cancel this today. Everybody, I'm Vic Faust, Tab of the Hassle. Eric Johnson will be coming in. Pro Joe's here. You liking this so far, Pro Joe? We do that on occasion here. Good morning, guys. We always come on just to, well, at least we're starting to now, just to talk about anything that you want to talk about before we get to the show. Um, Many days, Joe, I and you see me, I work out because we're here at Strategic Air
Yeah,
Services.
you're here super early.
What's that?
I said you're here super early.
Yeah, so I get my workout in because we have a workout here, our workout facility. It's awesome. That's why I always tell people if you have a private plane, if you're flying in and out of somewhere, Strategic Air Services is the place. Plus, they're looking for employees. Great place to work for. Um, with that being said, I can work out. So there's showers. So I shower and I race in here. And sometimes I'm sweating my
Yeah.
if it's a cardio day or if I'm getting some cardio in, woo, I'm sweating. So I'm trying to stop sweating right now. But anyway, we say good morning, everybody. Good morning, Kim. Lizzie Sparks on our chat line. Good morning, Lizzie. I'm assuming you're home today. So she'll be taking care of all of the chat line. How about that? Karen, good morning from Southern New Hampshire. We appreciate you liking, subscribing, sharing the show. We do continue to grow. We'd love 1 million listeners and viewers immediately, but sometimes it takes a while to build that base. Nothing good is easy. We know that. Hi, Annette. Hi, Angie. Hi, Sherry. Good morning to everybody. So, yeah, I may need my sweat towel. This may be the one. Normally, I come in and I'm dried off by now, but we're starting a little bit early. Another big show. What we've got, we'll talk about her coming up. But man, this Kim Gardner stuff, the circuit attorney in St. Louis. Hey, Alex. It's just, I mean, you can't make this stuff. It's Hollywood. It is a Hollywood script. We're going to get into that. She's looking for another career already. I never, ever, ever would have imagined Kim would be doing this. Kim Gardner, big story out of St. Louis. It's also National Prayer Day, as we had Kathleen Morgan, earlier in the week to talk about that. We've been promoting National Prayer Day every day. I mean, just take some time if you can't get with a group. And, thanks, Joe. We'll promote that as well again, too. What does it hurt to pray? Seriously. I mean, what does it hurt? So, if you can find people to pray with, great. If you're by yourself, great. It is just one of those days. Pray for people, take time, help others, as Joe says. Not that you do things to get things, but it is interesting how everything kind of falls in line. Mary says, I slept till 6:50, late for me, still drinking my coffee. Good for you. My body is conditioned now, unfortunately. You start getting up early. I never did. I haven't done that since I did the morning show in Detroit. Thanks, Angie, for your comment. Now my body is programmed to get up at like 5:40, and it sucks. Even if you go to bed at like 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock on a Friday or Saturday, those kinds of things happen. So it's National Prayer Day. Good morning to you, Karen. Appreciate everybody jumping in. Lots of stories as we do every day. We're starting to get some people interested in the show too, and it's because of you guys liking, subscribing, sharing. I've got an interesting advertiser I'll be talking to today too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and it's interesting. Let's just say it involves the beer industry.
Oh.
We'll see where that goes. Let's pray. Let's pray. That's something good happens with that. But we're gonna have some fun there as we're starting to get everything ready here for the show. Doing some final prep. If you guys have any questions, wondering things about the show, really excited to be involved with the 10-8 project as well. As we're trying to raise money for there. So you can go to our site, canceltheshow.com, look at our partners. If you can donate to the 10-8 project, of course, empowering police and fire and service, all those first responders that we start to go about. I got an email too, funny story. And I was glad that my freshman son they were going to have a bunch of reproductive talks. They start them, sex talks. And I'm like, okay, I know the kids have had that already. And he's a freshman. So I had to email the school yesterday to make sure that it wasn't anything that it shouldn't be. I'm like, hey, what does this consist of? I mean, or this doesn't get into gender reassignment surgery or anything like that. And I was emailed quickly back and said no. And, you can talk to your son afterwards. But no, I was just like, okay. But it was so weird the way that it was written. I was like, oh, this sounds like over the top inclusive, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I had to check into it. And thankfully, all was good there. We appreciate everybody jumping in early on the chat line today. We'll get that stuff done for you. Alex, also, since you're listening, I know we didn't talk. If you had a coupon for Greenlight, could you please send it so we can show it? I messaged you about that yesterday. We've got Greenlight coming on live today at 9:00. We're going to learn a lot about marijuana and why it's been so popular. But anyway, Annette says, so glad you called the school. Every parent should be doing that. Yeah. You know what? I emailed them. I mean, it only takes, a minute or two to formulate your thought. You send it, you have a record of it, and then you go there. Oh, Mary says, my phone reminds me every day when you guys start. Good. We appreciate it.
Keep those notifications
Richard
going.
says, when do you have another lib debate episode? Yeah, we'll get it soon. We just have to decide, do we want Brittany back in for round 2? Or do we try to bring somebody else in? A good friend of mine, she's a former Missouri State Senator, Jamila Nasheed. People remember her from St. Louis City. She is a friend, and I think, and she is not one of these progressive liberals, despite growing up and having her position in St. Louis City. So she wants to come on the show. We're going to bring her on. So I think I just made an executive decision. We're going to bring Jamila on first before we do round 2 with some of the other people who are more liberal. So anyway, let's go. We'll go ahead. We'll start the show. We appreciate everybody jumping in. Let's get to it. Hey guys, welcome in. It's cancelthisshow.com. It is May 4th. Tabitha's always ready for a party. She's already talking about Cinco de Mayo for tomorrow. As I look at the chat line, Angie, I'm kind of pissed off about this. I just looked down at the comment line. She's like, Vic, this is kind of coming over from the show before the show. Did you get Tom McDonald? No, I didn't. But guess who got him? Tom would not come on Cancel This yet. Maybe we need a couple million viewers, although it is good. I always promote, I promote everybody. I really do. I'd still like him to come on. I've been, I don't know, maybe I just need to stop stalking him. I've been stalking him. He was on with Ben Shapiro. So at least somebody finally woke up and got Tom McDonald on. I've been going after him for about 4 months. I've got record of it that I was trying to get him, I think, before anybody else. Tabitha, Tom McDonald is the rapper from Canada who hit number 1 with his song Ghost. And then he just did one with Big and Rich, had a song. Anyway, he has gone completely against the system. He made all of the music by himself, produced it all by himself, and a number 1 hit without. Oh my God. We can't get, this is why we don't give Tabitha sharp things. Off camera, she's spilling water all over the place. You know what? Because you've been working a lot, you've been a hot mess. And that's fine. I don't mean that negatively. You've just been, like, for about a month, you've been a hot mess.
Yes.
It's because you're not sleeping. You sleep is a good thing.
I never sleep.
So anyway, maybe one day we'll get Tom McDonald on the phone. He won't big time us. That's my only issue with Tom McDonald is if you're going to do one of these interviews, you should do all of them, especially with your message and especially with our message and what we do. And especially that we've been talking about him for 3-4 months. And than he does Ben Shapiro's show. So anyway, at least he got on. Any interesting that you asked that. So it is canceled. This I'm Vic Faust with Tabitha Hassel. Eric Johnson coming in studio just a little bit. Lizzie Sparks running our live chat line as she does all day on multiple platforms. And Lizzie, that's working out well. We really do appreciate it. You're a multitasker. You do an incredible job. So you're talking to people on 3 different platforms while we go live. Pro Joe's here coming up at 9:00 today. We're going to introduce you to Greenlight Dispensary. We've got that group coming up today. We're going to talk with them live. They'll be inside one of their facilities to explain everything that's going on. Can't wait for that coming up today. Also, as we remind you, it is National Prayer Day. GatewayNDP.org, GatewayNDP.org. You can check out their website, Kathy's site. Kathy Morgan joined us this week. We appreciate you, Kathy. I also heard you gave us a shout out for bringing you on. You can find groups. You can go pray with groups. They're just encouraging you to pray wherever you are, not only throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area where we broadcast live, but this is a national show. And for all of our listeners who listen around the country and the globe, for those listeners that we have in the UK, the Middle East, I think we had a few in Australia. So anyway, it is National Prayer Day, at least in the United States of America. Also, big party Saturday. Do you have plans, Tabitha? Can you get by Herbie's?
I'm probably not going to go to Herbie's because I have a big plan tomorrow.
Okay. There's the big Kentucky Derby party, all for charity. It's one of the biggest Kentucky Derby parties around. It's in Clayton, Missouri. Our friend Bobby Horvath puts it on every year. It's the 19th Kentucky Derby there. I was hoping we had a link. I'm trying to see the link to sign up for tickets. I thought that he had taken care of that, but I guess he didn't. Includes 2 mint juleps. Even though you don't like mint juleps, I do like mint juleps. You've got your free flatbreads. Go to our site. I'm looking to see if we can get that back up. You can look for that.
It's an excellent party.
No, it really is. We're just encouraging people that can get their tickets for that for charity in the St. Louis metropolitan area. So, yeah, I don't see it. I don't see another copy of that. I thought we might have had another copy. I don't see it. Okay. Anyway, we'll try to get that back up for you. Also, Alex, get on it. I've asked you for a lot. We need the coupon, Alex, which I messaged you about yesterday, plus the link. So Alex, I love you, but I'm also scolding you. Let's get that stuff in, dude. We got to get it in. This is a growing show. Lots of things going on. Also, special thanks to our show sponsors, Complete Auto Body Repair, CompleteAB.com. 6 facilities throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area, climate controlled. You just don't find that. You're going to have to invest to get people, and they need technicians. They pay top dollar. If you need anything, let us know at Cancel This, or just message them. Let them know you heard about it from cancelthisshow.com. But they do other things as well. They do tires, they do car repairs, they do glass. Alex, who I was just teasing about, is taking his car in today. Lizzie took her car in. Let them know when you go in there as well. Also, special thanks to Renewal by Anderson. You're not going to find a better window company anywhere. And if you live across the country, you can also check in with them for a quote. Let them know where you are, because they have their satellite offices all around the country. They will also credit cancelthisshow.com. So you're working with cancelthisshow.com. When you work with Renewal by Anderson, we've shown several before and after pictures. Lots of happy customers. Just go to our website at cancelthisshow.com. Click on the partners. And all you do is you get free quotes, and you'll see how much money you can save over a period of time by getting new windows. Blew my mind with that stuff coming through. Okay, we're going to get the show going in just a moment. Tabitha, she still has to put a lot more lipstick on. So we're going to show you our partners. We're back in 2 minutes.
And now it's here, the unveiling of the latest Carroll House lifestyle collections. I'm Brooke with my sister Amy, inviting you to see 3 football fields of the latest styles.
Our new lifestyle collections are premium quality furniture made exclusively for us and available only at Carroll House.
The attention to detail is unmatched, and so is the value, nearly half the price of a typical gallery store.
Plus, get free financing, delivery, and in-home design. Carroll House, because you like nice things.
Kathy Obig Strick, owner of Experienced Real Estate Partners with eXp, has been one of St. Louis, Missouri's highest selling groups for 26 years running. In that time, Kathy and her team have successfully assisted an incredible 4,000 families. So if you're thinking about buying, building, or selling, be sure to put Kathy's group and their experience to work for you, and you can expect to be moved. Just give her a call at 314-276-SOLD. That's 314-276-7653, or find her online at experience-re.com. Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley, if you don't know, is a family-owned business that has been around since 1994, serving some of the best chicken wings in town, no joke. Also known for their fresh burgers, pizza, and incredible smoked meat. Top-notch happy hour specials are included, plus live music every Friday and Saturday. Oh yeah, you can also enjoy their spacious heated covered patio. It's Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley, 18,000 Chesterfield Airport Road.
As all of you may know, the home of the Cancel This studio is located at the all-inclusive private jet hangar, Strategic Air Services. Founded in Chesterfield, Missouri, they take pride in offering a meticulous approach to private aviation through services that fully manage your trip from takeoff to landing. Strategic Air Services is more than just storage for your aircraft. They offer state-of-the-art amenities to its members and guests. When you are not traveling, you have the luxury of enjoying their world-class gym, conference rooms, lounges, and so much more. Strategic Air Services offers an unparalleled luxury experience for all things private aviation. If you're looking for a new place to call home for your aircraft, give them a call today at 636-400-7601. Again, that's 636-400-7601, or visit their website at strategicairservices.net.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. It's canceltheshow.com. I'm Vic Faust with Tabitha Hassel, Eric Johnson, Lizzie Sparks, and Pro Joe running the boards. Hey, by the way, I owe you an apology, Joe. I forgot. When you leave and I'm working throughout the day, I open the blinds. We have a tremendous studio here in the Chesterfield Valley at Spirit Airport at Strategic Air Services. But I'm a light guy. I open blinds. I like windows open.
Me too.
Yeah, as soon as I come in, I have to shut them because there's nothing but a glare. All I see is a reflection of the outside.
We got a big window, so we look at Joe. He's outside of the studio. We got to get our cancel cam back in.
Yeah.
Do you know about that?
I do not, but I think I've heard about it.
We're going to teach. It's a 4-shot of the entire room.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We haven't shown that in a while.
Yeah.
But we'll get it to show our amazing studio. But anyway, I leave the blinds open a lot of these mornings, and I came and I was like, oh, I forgot, because that sun was shining this morning.
Yeah.
So anyway, my bad. I'm sorry. If I open those shades
it's all
today,
good. It doesn't take much to close them. It's no big deal.
Yeah, but it adds to the list.
Let the sun shine in, Joe.
Hey guys, I also wanted to let you guys know too about something else that's good that's happening for the show. We have a partnership here coming up. Have you heard of OAN, One America News Network? I think you have. One America News Network, OAN, or you'll find them at OANN.com, OANN.com. Conservative. Probably, don't you think they're the newest? Probably the newest, because you had Fox and you had Newsmax.
Absolutely. So I have watched OAN since its inception for many years now.
Right. I've watched them. I've liked them. I've liked Newsmax.
I like them both.
But we're really going to like OAN now at Cancel This Show.
We sure are.
They like our numbers. They like what we're doing. They're going to advertise with us, guys. So we're becoming partners with OAN, the network of Chanel Rion, who we've had on before. We love Chanel. We've been told, get Chanel back on. So anyway, we have always talked. So it's legitimate here. It's not, oh my God, they're going to sponsor. Now you're flipping the script over. No. We've talked about them with OAN and a good job that they do.
They do a fantastic job.
So we're promoting One America News Network. We're grateful that they want to be a part of what we're doing too with the numbers that we're growing. I have to remind myself that we're 4.5 months in.
I know. We are still a baby. Even though we've all been on a show together before, it's not the same. This is a new baby, our second child. And you know what? If you can watch OAN. A lot of people don't even know this. If you have Spectrum, which so many people do in this area, it's on channel 347.
Thank you for finding that.
347.
So,
but if you have a smart TV, they have their app. You can watch it. Trust me,
we're
there is
promoting
no
their app.
excuse not to watch it.
Yeah, and we'll be promoting their app as well. No doubt about that.
And that's what I use as the app.
We can't get enough, especially with those networks, especially with what Tabitha talks about.
Todd says 346. Maybe in some areas it's 346. On their website, it's 347.
Yeah, we just got word last night when I texted you guys.
Because I use the app. I don't use the channel because I'm never home to watch TV.
No, I get it. And we're grateful for that. And, but it's tough when you first start. I mean, when you start a business out, it's tough.
Of course it is. You work your butt off.
We all do because we all have other jobs. Because to work here, you have to have another job.
Some of us have 10.
So we're trying. We appreciate you guys liking, subscribing, sharing the show. We're just trying to chug along each day. And maybe someday we'll get Tom McDonald as well. Who knows? We'll put him in line. He may be that guy. You guys know what I'm talking about in life. There's that one thing you want. That one thing. You're getting everything else, but there's that one thing that you want that you just can't get. You may have 20 other things that are just as good, if not better, but you want that one thing, whatever it is in life. But the universe doesn't give it to you. I won't do that again. I sound like creepy Joe.
I would like Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, you'd like
Despite being at his house, he's not been on the show.
You'd like to smoke some meat for him?
Not really. You know what? I would just like him to come on the show and talk to us about his politics. He has a charity called Just Keep Living, JK Living.
Oh, really? I'm not.
And I have a bunch of his stickers. I've donated money. It's a great charitable organization.
So, OAN, if you want to support them, check them out. Please do. You'll be hearing more about them. You'll see them in our ads. We'll be talking with OAN as well. We'll be doing some of those interviews. And who knows? Maybe it was supposed to happen when Lizzie set up Chanel Rion for us.
I think so.
Right out of the gate, where it just kind of worked out from that standpoint. So thanks, guys. Thank you for continuing. Those of you who've donated to get us going during these tough stages of getting up and running. And thank you. Aaron says, whispering. And Dane, no joke, Vic. I'm not going to do the Biden anymore. Sorry, boys. Okay. So we're excited about that. Not excited about the banking industry. We got some problems. We got another bank on the brink, which would be number 4 in recent times. And I know it caught your attention too, Tabitha. You're scared about this, aren't you?
I am. I am actually, I'm very scared. And right now, we just heard yesterday, PacWest.
Yep.
They crashed by 57%. They've announced that they are looking for a buyer. And you know what? And there's so many other banks that have collapsed that the news doesn't even cover. And, they're covering the big ones, but they're not covering all of them. And, don't you think that this is really what this is really about? Just like during COVID times, we closed all the mom and pop businesses, all the small to medium businesses, and we kept the conglomerates open. And that's what's going to continue to happening in the banking industry. They're going to close all the medium, smaller banks, and then they're eventually going to have the big conglomerates. They'll all get bought out. Until it's just a couple banks standing.
Well, the thing that concerns me about this is we're on that track. It certainly appears the train is on the track. This would be, they're selling. They haven't collapsed yet. Right? If they're selling, then they are on the verge of collapse. They wouldn't be. This would be the 4th bank, by the way. This would be the 4th bank.
Well, it's probably more like 12, but the fourth large bank.
What I call major, what you call large. Yes, correct. The same thing. And why is it?
I think it's distrust in the banking industry.
It's deposits.
Yeah, people are taking their money out of the bank. People are scared. They're taking their money out of the bank. They're cashing in their stocks.
I think that's what's going to escalate this.
It is
everybody panicking and taking their money out.
It's just like the stock market, but and gas prices. But come on, are you going to leave your money in it? Are you going to be the person that says, "Oh, well, you know what? I'm going to try to do the right thing." And maybe we have people like that, and you should maybe.
No, you will be the person who loses.
But you'll be the person that gets trucked.
That happened to me, Vic, with crypto. Because remember when crypto was collapsing? I was one of those people where everybody that's selling is making the crypto collapse. And that's why everybody's losing their money because they're all selling out. I'm like, I'm going to hold strong. I'm going to stay in crypto. Well, guess what? I lost most of my crypto money.
Already?
No, this was.
But I thought you're still in Bitcoin.
Well, I still have a lot of crypto, but
Bitcoin's
it went
doing well,
but
isn't
it went from many thousands of dollars down to a few pennies. I mean, when the crypto market crashed, I was the person that held out, and I lost because I held out. So I'm not telling people to keep your money in the bank. I'm telling you, take your money out of the bank and buy things that are tangible.
Okay, you're saying buy things that are tangible. You're always about real estate.
Don't put your money underneath your mattress. Don't do that.
Assets.
Buy assets, real estate.
Well, Mary says, what do you do? Angie says, I don't got any money anyway right now. Drew says, it's only the banks that aren't FDIC insured.
That's not true, Drew.
I did not know that was true. I was going to ask you. I didn't think that was
No,
the
that's
case.
not true. There have been FDIC insured banks that have collapsed. SVB was one of them. The problem was there was a lot of people who had money in there over the FDIC insured limit. But we see banks close all the time that are FDIC insured. It's mismanagement. It's people taking their deposits out. But you know what? Our money is continuing to lose its value. Continuing.
The inflation factor is also a part of it.
Hyperinflation.
Rates went up again yesterday, 0.25%. So it's not helping. That's for sure. People are not borrowing as much from the banks. They're certainly taking their money out. And guess what? This isn't just an American problem.
It's not.
It's happening around the world, specifically in Europe. Their banks are doing the same damn thing, which gives me the chills when I talk about it. I'm like, where there's smoke, there's fire. This is going on all around the world.
It's not happening in BRICS countries.
Does it connect? Well, yeah, that's true. Does it connect for a certain reason? Is it on purpose?
I think because we've all overinflated our dollar. I mean, and the euro is the same. The euro has never really done all that well. I had a graph yesterday, and I'm sorry, Joe, I should have sent this to you. I was looking at a graph here where it says bank deposits are dropping at the fastest rate since 1934. That's very telling. Since 1934.
You know what that's going to mean eventually?
It means we're going to go from a recession to a depression is what's going to happen.
I get concerned, and we're not trying to make anybody afraid here. We try to educate and entertain and bring facts to the table.
Well, people shouldn't be scared because there are options.
We're not worried about feelings as much as we are about facts.
Correct.
And with that being said, that concerns me about jobs, companies.
Absolutely so.
There may be, you hear Democrats right now say, there's so many jobs all over the place. You can go do whatever you want. Okay. Maybe not, depending upon what your skills are and what's going on. But at the same point in time, how long will those, quote, jobs be available? Because this always hits jobs eventually. It hits companies.
Absolutely. So.
And we've seen some layoffs from massive companies around the world, big corporations. Google was one of them. Is it going to hit larger corporations? And then, of course, hit smaller businesses in America. And like I said, is it all on purpose? I know we go down the rabbit hole a little bit. Man, with what I have seen happen in the last 2.5 years, you better believe I'm giving it some credence.
Vic, it's all with intent. And the problem is I read an article yesterday, and this person was so correct, just a random person writing this, who said, the government wants these smaller banks to close because they want the big conglomerates to hold all of the money. Then we would switch over to digital assets. They want the big conglomerates to be the only ones standing. And they're like, don't take your money out of the bank. Don't be part of the problem and part of the bank crash. But at the same time, if you don't trust me, everyone else is going to take their money out as time continues. And if you are the last man standing in your bank, guess what's going to happen? There is no way in a million years right now I would have over $50,000 in a bank. There's no way in a million years.
Okay, yeah, but here's the question for you.
And don't buy gold, for God's sake. Do not buy gold.
What are you supposed to do?
Don't buy gold.
We don't just try to report news and facts here. We try to come up with solutions ourselves, you our viewers, you our listeners, bringing in guests and all of the research we do. Besides real estate, Tabitha, what are you supposed to do?
I think that there's a lot of things people can invest in. That gold is up 30% right now. Do not buy gold.
It's at a high point.
I heard silver is actually a good investment right now.
Well, Patrick Willett,
better, but you have to think about and I don't expect the central bank to collapse. It's not going to get that bad. But let's just say when things get really bad, your gold is going to be, what are you going to craft yourself a bracelet? I mean, your gold isn't going to be worth anything. Your silver isn't going to be worth anything. Eventually down the road, it will be, but not for a very long time. You're going to want things you can actually use in your daily life. You're going to want things you can barter. You're going to want food sources. Let's say you can trade eggs, you can trade vegetables, you can trade seeds. There's so many different things that you can use. And you guys laughed at me the other day when I said invest in lead. Buy lead.
No, I didn't laugh at you.
Tools.
I just never heard of lead.
But yeah, that the new thing is people are saying don't buy gold.
We laughed
buy lead.
about people making their hammers and stuff up from lead. That's what we were laughing about.
Because I don't expect things to get so bad where you're going to have to grow a garden in your backyard to survive.
Although that's not a bad thing if you can do it. We've got, seriously though, we had one of our listeners who, I'm waiting on a response, electro horticulture, how to grow things in your own backyard and super fast.
You can,
anyway, we're going to be getting more into that. I have a friend
who's in that type of business, and he also, is it hydroponics? Where you
never
grow,
heard that word.
Well, you use water to grow vegetables, and they also grow really fast.
Yeah, you don't have to use soil.
You don't have to use soil, and you can do it indoors, and so you can grow basically your vegetables all year round.
Okay, interesting stuff there. That's for sure. But the problem that we have with the whole banking industry now is everybody's starting to freak out. There's no indicators anywhere that show me or anybody that this is going to stop.
It's not going to stop. It's going to continue.
And
escalate.
What does that mean for everyday Americans like us?
I think what it means is we're going to be spending less money on the things we don't really need.
It concerns me because it looks to me as if what it does eventually, I mean, if you graph it out over time, it eliminates the middle class.
And that's the whole point. It's the redistribution of wealth. It started during COVID, and it's going to continue. And they want all of us at the very lowest levels. And that includes all of us, even some of the people you and I, Vic, know that have what we think are very stable, that have a lot of money. Those are not part of the 1% of the elite. They want them to be as low as we are.
And then while the banking industry is going on, our U.S. crude oil storage also dipped below the 5-year average as energy demand fell off a cliff. I mean, it really did. So there's a lot of those things going up. We talked about the interest rates going up yesterday. The banking situation is where it is. We're trying to come up with a positive, but at the same point in time, you have to be as positive, but you have to give the freaking deal.
You do.
The Dow also plunged 500 points as those bank stocks were crashing, because the Dow will crash as that's going on too. Consumer confidence fails. It lacks. It all connects to each other. So, it fell flat yesterday. However, hoping for another rebound. But I mean, just a slew of regional bank stocks.
And the Asian markets closed so much higher than ours did last night.
It doesn't make sense.
Because you know why? You look at Russia yesterday announced they're going to start making purchases in the yuan.
Yeah. Boy, things are
changing.
But here's
rapidly.
the thing: I guarantee the average person has no idea that Russia was doing that yesterday.
They don't.
And you bring up Russia making purchases in the yuan, the Chinese yuan. Why?
Because they know that's the currency of the future. They know the yuan is the currency of the future.
Or at least that's their effort.
You know what?
It is definitely their effort. They are combining forces to, guess what? Beat us.
I'm wondering if Eric and all of his money guys are ready to buy a big bank.
Tabitha's like WebMD.
WebMD.
When you go to WebMD,
minus the medical.
When you go to WebMD and you have a lump on your shoulder and it says you could have stage 4 cancer. And then when you go to the doctor, you find out it's just a lipoma, but you're scared to damn.
Oh, stop.
You're scared to death.
Always being so derogatory.
I thought you were gonna give her the compliment.
Here's the deal.
And Eric is like the person on Idiocracy.
You got to stop
watering
scaring
their crops
people.
With,
you got to stop scaring people because you not just you, but everybody that is dragging their money out of banks.
Yeah.
It's not smart.
Comes from the guy that doesn't read the news.
I mean, what are you going to do? Tell people to put it in inflated stocks so their money drops?
No, I'm telling people.
That's what I'm trying to find out.
You shouldn't.
I'm telling people, Eric, what to do with their money. And you know what? If you don't hop on the wagon, you're going to be that person who loses everything.
Well, I think people can be smart. I think people can be smart, but then you have to say.
But when you come in here and saying that stuff, it literally makes me
like
want
WebMD.
to walk out and leave.
Well, I'm not trying to make you sound
teasing.
No, he's not teasing because it's, I just told somebody yesterday that I'm
It's
so tired of coming in
fear-mongering.
here.
No, we have a good
And
mix.
you guys acting like, oh, everything I say is so doom and gloom and
It
derogatory.
is.
Well, that's why I left my last show, because
Why?
people kept saying that to me. I am here telling the
It
truth.
is.
And these people followed me here to tell
What do you mean-
tell the truth.
What do
Well,
you
what's the
mean,
truth?
you guys?
What's the truth?
I was just having a conversation.
If it-
I know you brought the
It
subject
is
up.
like WebMD. It's
It
the
is
same
not
thing.
like WebMD.
I
Eric.
know. Look, I've
Coming
had.
from the guy that doesn't read the news at all, you're misinforming people. These
I'm not
people,
informing people of anything I
these
don't know
people
about
need to
what's
know
going on.
the truth. They need to know the truth about what's
No.
going on in
No,
the
I
world.
disagree.
And you can go
I
hide under the
respectfully
rock
disagree.
if you want,
You
but maybe
can't-
you should be on a different show hiding under the
The
rock.
no, but we have
Not
different
one
opinions.
that's trying to tell the truth.
No, we have different opinions on the show.
The reason
on certain
that
things.
these banks are closing is inflation. They cannot. This thing came on fast and furious. They
People
can't.
are losing their money because people are taking their money out of the bank. It's because of fear. That's a proven
Amen.
fact.
You just proved my point for me.
It's a
You
fact.
just proved my point for me. You just proved my point.
And what's going
The-
to happen
the-
when these banks
the
continue to
domino
close? You're going to
effect-
be hiding under your
Oh,
rock
man,
and not
you
paying
talk a lot.
attention.
You talk a lot. Shh, shh. The domino effect of people freaking out about the financial system going tits up is part of the problem. It is very secure in Bank of America, in the big boys. Some
The
community,
people who want to spy on us and watch every dollar you spend, you're going to put your faith in Bank of America.
some of these smaller
Every time you
community
buy
banks,
a weapon, every time you spend, every dollar you spend, Eric, Bank of America is reporting every dollar you spend to
it
the
is.
IRS.
It is, to me, it's a little bit, it's scary when you hear people who you think might know more about the financial industry tell you to do something and then you do it.
Well, why don't you tell us your prediction for the future? It
My
sounds
prediction
like
is-
it's all roses
No,
and
it's
sunshine.
not. It's horrible. I think the economy's horrible. I think
Roses
that
and sunshine.
we have a good mix here.
I
We all have
think-
different
I think
takes.
Janet-
That's what
Well, we
makes
do
us
have
work.
a good mix, but we
I
don't have to
think
be
Janet-
derogatory
yeah.
to the other
No,
people
he's not. We just
for a
let's
good
not.
mix.
We just
I
don't
think
take
Janet-
it personal.
yeah, stop it.
Well,
We're
What's
having
wrong with you,
fun.
man?
okay, well, it is
What's the
personal
matter with you?
when Eric comes in and says, I'm like WebMD.
You're like WebMD.
trying to scare everybody, but it's really nothing. That's telling people not to
That
believe
wasn't
me.
derogatory.
Yes,
Have you
it is.
ever
And if
gone?
you don't accept that, then we're going to have a problem.
Have you ever gone to WebMD? Put in your symptoms,
No, I
and
actually
then
go to a
WebMD,
doctor
and
when
then
I have problems.
right. But there's millions and millions of other people
Yes.
that go there, put in the symptoms, and then it spits out that you have a terminal problem, and you're like, "Oh my Lord!" And then you go to the doctor, and they say, "No, actually, it's just a fatty mass."
Well, I
You're
think all
fine.
of the people on the comment line are agreeing with
Well,
me.
then
so-
go put your money in chickens
Tabitha,
and
please,
go
that's not fair.
put your money in chickens then, and
We
and
all have different opinions.
grow your eggs
We
or
do.
whatever you're going to
We
do.
do.
But for the most part, big people that own businesses, people that finance the world, people that are smart can still put millions and millions of dollars into Bank of America, Chase Manhattan. They can put it in the big boys. But if you go to a community federal or a little bank, they try to invest money. And when interest rates go up, their money gets screwed. So they don't have the backbone to support that anymore. That's kind of what's happening here. It's not a run on the real estate market like it was in 2008.
It is on the commercial real estate.
I agree
market.
with you.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm the Fed has screwed everything up. Joe Biden and his trillions and trillions of dollars extending the devaluation of the dollar has screwed everything up. I get it. But you can't tell your mom, go take the $400,000 out of your bank and stick it in chickens. Or go stick it in land.
You can, yes, you can.
Why?
Because you know what? Because real estate since 1983 has increased in value by 441%.
It's not liquid then.
You know what's happening to your money at the bank? It is going down. It has decreased 38% in the past 10 years. 38%. So real estate is going up
Okay.
441%.
Yeah.
Money, the value of your dollar has gone down 38%.
Okay, well,
so I think
anything-
it's a very sound advice to
Any-
put your money in real estate
No.
or land because it continues.
So you want more
to
people to
increase
run
in
on the bank
value.
because of your
It's-
suggestion?
I didn't want people to run
You
on
want them to
crypto
run?
either, but
You-
it did. I told people to hold on to their crypto.
And it went tits up.
And we
sure
can
did.
agree, and guess what?
It sure did.
And we can agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Everything you say is
don't
not
have any-
always going to be right.
I
Everything he
agree.
says is not. It's
I
right
don't
in your
have
mind. It's
Any
right in my
problem
mind.
disagreeing with me or that we all have different opinions.
Yes, that's what cancel
it's
this
how
is.
we say this. It's how we present it. That's the story.
I I would never tell someone that had some kind of a mole on their shoulder, oh, that's just a freckle, when it could be some kind of cancer. Because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. You can take a look at what's going on.
But you think the
and you
truth
can
is
attribute,
scary, and you would rather look the other way and tell people not to worry about what's happening that's scary. Before you came in, Eric, we're sitting here looking at bank deposits dropping at the fastest rate since 1934.
Why do you think that is?
Because people are scared and taking their money out of the bank.
Exactly.
Do you think that if we sat here and preached sunshine and rainbows and said, keep your money in the bank, don't take it out, do you think that's going to safeguard people's money? It's not.
Well, I don't think that we should be giving any advice.
But that's your take. But guess what? There are financial analysts and advisors saying, you know what? Have a tempered approach. Don't go just pull it out. So there's all kinds of opinions, which is why we have to accept and listen to people who don't agree all the time with our opinions.
I don't have any problem with anyone that doesn't agree with my opinion.
Be smart. Be smart. Go to someone that has a CPA license and somebody that knows what they're doing and protect your family.
But those aren't always
but don't
the people.
Listen to us. Please, man.
So don't listen to this show.
Well, no, I mean, there's certain
as
things
far
that
as
you can do.
That's why we're here every day.
Yeah, I mean, there's things that we can talk high level, but as far as financials and
the
that
people
kind of
sometimes,
stuff,
Eric, who are CPAs, the people who work in the bank, sometimes they don't know what's going on.
That's true.
They don't know what's going on.
Look at the doctors and nurses during the pandemic.
Exactly. They don't know what. They're supposed to be the people you
I thought the WebMD analogy
care.
was perfect. Spot the frick on.
It's not.
And don't laugh, because you know I'm telling you the damn
you
truth.
called me a lipoma.
Not a lipoma. It's a lipoma. I didn't call you anything. I said that it's like that.
It's not a tumor. It's not a lipoma.
And despite
my blood
our
pressure's
little,
up right now. Maybe I need to go check WebMD.
Despite our little bickering on the show, Eric is always one of my top 5 favorite people on the planet.
Go on.
He is seriously one of the sweetest.
Continue
people.
it.
Yeah, continue.
More. Bring it on.
I
know he doesn't mean.
I went to urgent care last night, and there's Kim Gardner as a nurse. I was like, wow, what is going on in this planet now, man?
What a great segue from that standpoint. This is cancel this show.
Now she's going to tell you your lipoma is not.
She would tell me to. Yeah, she'd tell me to cut my head off.
Tabitha Hassel, myself, Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks on the chat line, and of course we've got Pro Joe. It's a big story because it went national again. We're not getting into, quote, St. Louis crime, but freaking Kim Gardner gives us headline after headline these days. By the time this ends, Missouri's Attorney General could run for governor if he wants to, because right now Andrew Bailey looks like a superstar, super stud. Eric just said it. The St. Louis City Circuit Attorney, who has arguably the worst resume since she has started of any circuit attorney in the history of the United States, and I am not overdoing that. You can't make the stuff up.
But out of nowhere,
they find out. What has Kim been doing? Kim's been taking nursing classes, graduate level nursing classes at SLU.
I yesterday.
What?
I don't know what did you watch the press conference?
Soros-backed, Democratic circuit attorney in St. Louis who isn't prosecuting crimes, who has one attorney for 500 hardcore crime cases because everybody left. Unfortunately, another one passed away in an accident last night on 270.
I know.
Just sad.
And that is really sad.
Oh my God.
Really sad.
It's like the whole place is like cursed right now. It is so bad. Yeah. And she's taking what circuit attorney for a major city on the side is taking nursing classes when they're not even prosecuting cases.
So what were you doing yesterday when you saw that?
Hell?
Did you watch the press conference live online?
I listened to it on radio last night when I was driving. Andrew Bailey had a press conference last night regarding this whole situation. He's the attorney general in the state of Missouri.
I've only heard about people laughing so hard that they fall off of their chair. It actually happened to me yesterday. Tabitha.
You laughed so hard.
I don't know what it was that made me click on the link that says Bailey giving a press conference about that. And I clicked on it, and I think I was doing something else. And I heard she's taking night classes to become a nurse.
What does that tell you, people?
I said, you know what? I give up. Maybe Tabitha and Drew Collins are right about everything.
Is she going to have to pay Soros-backed
This world
money?
is crazy.
If she quits, is she going to have to?
She sees the writing on the wall.
Is she going to pay the money back to Soros?
Where were these nursing classes at?
SLU.
So she's at SLU.
This is big boy classes.
How long has she been taking these classes?
I don't know.
So that means there are other people at SLU taking nursing classes with her.
Oh yeah, that's how
And
that's how the word. No, that's how the word got
It eventually got out.
I'm
because
sure.
Of that.
Yeah, that's how.
So
it got
she
out.
knew that her attorney career is coming to an end. So she thought, well, I need a backup plan. I could be a nurse. Could you? I mean,
No.
like Eric falling off his chair. If
Dude,
I,
true
well,
story.
that's just like that's
True
no
story.
different than
It's funny, but it's not.
than Lord Sam Page. Waking up from surgery and he's standing over you. Could you imagine him and Kim Gardner waking up and you've had a surgery and they're both standing?
No,
over
it
you?
made me think
He's
that
doing your anesthesia. And
She's
No, no,
talking
no.
about the
nurse.
St. Louis County.
that's a good point. I never thought about that. It made me think.
I would think I had died and gone to the HELL.
It literally made me think that all of these stories about the multiverse are true. That we somehow slipped into the silliest of all multiverses.
Yeah.
Because it's just overwhelming every single damn
Well,
day.
she allegedly had. I heard she had some past in nursing, and maybe this is
Yeah.
something that she could quickly fall back on if there's not a separate source account for Kim. And you can't make this stuff up. So when word got to the attorney general, yeah, you know that embattled St. Louis City circuit attorney
Yeah.
who's not prosecuting cases of murders or walking free. Literally, that's not a figure of speech.
Yeah.
Literally walking free. Judges, multiple judges holding her in contempt of court because they don't have attorneys showing up.
Oh my
And
God.
she's blaming everybody. You know what? She's taking nursing classes. So Bailey's office are like, you've got to be kidding me. So then they have subpoenas released to SLU to find out how often she's there, how long she's been there, what her hours. Because when you're an elected official, guess what? You can't do that.
No, you can't.
It's illegal. It's another opportunity. This is crashing and burning. There's no way she survives. I'm sorry. And it's not just because the
there's
tide's
no way.
high.
There's no way.
There is no freaking way.
That sealed her fate.
And allegedly there's from her community supporters today having another.
Isn't it like 10 people now? I mean, it's like 10 people with BLM flags.
They're
That's about
loud.
it.
They're loud.
Well, be loud as you want, but these guys are bringing the high heat, man. Because you have to, when you sign on the dotted line, it's like, congratulations, Miss Garner.
I was talking to our Fred Brad Young yesterday, attorney, and he joins the show, contributor, legal analyst for canceltheshow.com. And he's like, man, I'm hearing that an ultimatum has been given to her already.
You think so?
Out of Jefferson City. And why else would she be taking nursing classes?
She's obviously taking, and Shelley on the comment line said that she's already an RN and now she's going to be a practitioner. I don't know if that's true or not.
Once again.
And also, like Jay says,
why
nothing happened to Sam Page.
What do you mean nothing happened?
Well, he got in trouble for working at Mercy when he wasn't supposed to be working.
No, but here's, I know.
Nothing happened to him.
Yeah, but it was different because they had a legal thing going back and forth. I know it's the same, but it's different. In that position, she can't do it. And there were accusations made where he was doing, and he wouldn't give information.
Yeah,
it became a legal
information.
It became a legal battle, and we all know sometimes when things go to court, not always the right thing happens. It's unfortunate, but it happens. But why but her case is so publicized for not doing her job, and she's caught taking classes.
Yeah. Well, see, I think that
and now we're waiting for the details.
It's almost so funny that it's hard to even think about.
That's why it's become a national story again.
Hilarious.
Sam Page's job isn't life and death most of the time.
Sam Page is St. Louis County executive.
Kim Gardner is life and death, and it's justice. And there's families that get have a case number come up, and your court date is June whatever, and all of a sudden it's like we're going to be in court, and this lady decides that she doesn't want to send anybody. She just wants to dismiss it. She doesn't give a damn. She does it multiple times. She does it to the point now where there's 2 judgments that are coming against her about contempt of court. Like you just do not respect the court at all.
One was thrown out. The other one.
Oh, it was.
One was.
I didn't even know that.
One was kept. But here's the thing: the court case is moving forward, and now the state auditor is coming after her. Yeah. It's too much. She done.
Yeah.
And she can't get anybody to hire. And in tragic news, she lost one of her other people last night in a car accident on Highway 270.
That is so sad.
Yeah, I saw the car was on fire, but I didn't know it was that person.
I was looking, and here's what's interesting. I was looking at some of the headlines from some of the news stations. I mean, give me a break.
Here we go.
Fox 2 in St. Louis, Missouri AG continues attacks on St. Louis Circuit Attorney.
Oh, that's brutal.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that brings back bad memories. I mean, literally. And it's just sad that, and by the way, the people who write the stories are not the people who put the headlines on there. It's the web team that gets autonomy to do that. That's sad.
Well, why don't we call your old boss and see if they can fix that?
That's all right.
Because that's important. That's important. It's how you couch a story. It's the same thing as lying through omission. It's the same thing. You can couch a story. Words matter, especially in news, especially in headlines. But it's hard to be unbiased in a headline. If you're the writer Tabitha, do you think you could write a liberal headline? Do you think it would be possible for you to do that?
I could. It would be the funniest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
But it would be hard for you to generate that kind of thought out of your head. If they said, Tabitha, you are our brand new headline
It would be,
writer.
I want everything for free. I want to give out everything you own, but I want to keep my own things.
Correct.
That's what it would say.
Yeah.
No, it is sad. And then something else that did occur, yesterday as well is that her office lost a first-degree murder trial because the judge declared a mistrial.
Yeah, I saw that.
They lost it. I mean, and you're talking about an accused suspect who sat in a St. Louis City jail for more than 5 years. 5 years while Gardner's office prepared the case and said the evidence was terrible. And this person was, whether they did or didn't, the evidence you're innocent always until proven guilty. You are, despite what media does to you, despite headlines that come out, you're always innocent until proven guilty.
Which is a shame, because I think a person like Kim Gardner could have literally, if she could have done this slow, she could just slow walk this. She could have made a difference. She could have cleaned up St. Louis even maybe a little bit. She had a position. If she was, most prosecutors they get their job. They go, I'm just going to do the job. Here's my job. I'm going to do it. Hopefully I get reelected in 4 years. If she wanted to do social justice, she was in a position to work with the communities, to do outreach, to do PR. She could have said, you commit crimes, I'm going to put your ass in jail. Sorry. But at the same time, maybe we can work on some of this public community
but that's not
policing.
what's in her heart, Eric.
Right.
She
right.
She has been a circuit attorney
She could have.
after her own heart and after her own beliefs. And
well, what are those beliefs exactly?
Well,
we don't know her beliefs.
The only thing that we know that she has said publicly anyway is that she thinks that there's a lot of innocent people sitting in jail, and there are, but she thinks they're sitting in jail because they've been prosecuted unfairly.
Okay.
And so she would rather prosecute no one than take a chance of putting someone innocent in jail. And she has said these things.
Yeah, and the other thing about it, when the mayor in St. Louis, and you have an interest, there's a couple different factors that are all built into this. When the mayor in St. Louis, the first Black female mayor, then you had the first Black circuit attorney female, then you had the first Black congressional rep in Cori Bush. It was like, there's a
trifecta.
There's a pass. Yeah. Like I watched it happen and where I was. Anyway, so that gets things started. Then you get re-elections and we're going to do this. Then the mayor comes out and says she needs to do some soul searching, but she's been quiet ever since. She stayed out of it.
Well, she did pipe in a few days ago.
But I didn't think she really went after her.
She didn't go after her, but she thought that it was about, it was kind of a mixed thing where the state of Missouri taking over police. And then
that was different though.
A little bit.
So now what you're going to have is a situation why I talk about why it's a national issue and why we're talking about it. Will this set precedent in states where you may have, quote, a hardcore blue inner city that's just all trucked up and can't get out of their own way, having attorney generals who may be red or conservative saying, you know what, we've got evidence now.
The problem is,
some sort of evidence.
Yeah.
And we've got what we need to go after. We got a precedent.
The problem with Kim Gardner and elected officials and we've seen it. San Francisco is worse than St. Louis by about 100-fold. The problem is there's no benchmarks. So if I get hired by a company to go in and I'm basically I'm assigned. I congratulations, Mr. Johnson. You are now our grave digger here at the cemetery. I go, fantastic. You have benchmarks of how to succeed at that job, right?
Correct.
You basically, Mrs. Jones just passed away. You need to go dig a grave. I'm going on vacation. Excuse me? Yes, I'm going to be on vacation, so Mrs. Jones is going to have to wait until I get back. The people we're electing they used to not need hand-holding. They used to not need benchmarks. They used to not need a matrix of success. I think that the state of Missouri, get Nick Schroer on the phone for me. The state of Missouri needs to build a law, and I think Tabitha would agree with this, that you get elected to a job, you get fired. You get fired if you don't do A, B, C, and D of what that job entails. If you are the dog catcher for St. Charles, Missouri,
with any
and
job,
you don't catch 400 dogs in a month, you get fired. If you get $399, well, you're getting fired.
It's just
you
harder to do that in an elected position.
Okay, but I don't care what the excuse
because they say, well, the people voted for this person.
I hear you.
They were voting
I'm
for.
hearing you. But if I elect you for a job, right? If I elect Tabitha Hassel for a job, then she goes out into the world and she completely is not successful under that matrix of success. We can fire you. The governor can fire you. Here's the problem I have with these local officials. They don't answer to anybody. There is no check and a balance. Look, there's no check and a balance. No, because that's not true. If I vote for the president, there's a check and a balance between the Congress and the Supreme Court, right?
No.
If I vote for the governor, there's a check and a balance of the House of Representatives and the Senate.
Well,
there are checks and balances.
Not. There's no one doing any checks and balances.
But for Kim Gardner, there is no check. There's no balance. Right? We can't say, hey, she's not doing her job. Now you're seeing the AG of Missouri come in and do everything they can to throw as much spaghetti against the wall. He doesn't have a choice
because, Eric, this isn't like somebody just doing a bad job. People are being killed
and I'm
because
telling
of her
you,
doing
but I'm
a
telling
bad
you
job.
why this is all happening.
I just think there needs to be new state laws. If you want your blue cities to be safe and secure, you have to make laws from your state capitals.
But that's not what they want. You have to remember.
I don't care what they want. I'm talking about common sense.
And so many other Democrat-ran cities, this is what they want.
You're not hearing me.
It's what they want. Well, I do hear you.
Because what if we had red cities and we came in and said, there's no more birth control, what if it was conservative? What if it went the other way? Then they wouldn't like that as well.
Then we'd have the safest country on the planet. But it's not that way.
Ideology cannot be the management of cities. You cannot manage anything. Your business, you can't manage your dishwasher. Ideology gets out of the way.
And those are all good solutions. But let's talk about the reality of the situation is that these Democrat-led cities, they're not going to change. And you know what? Not only are they not going to change.
Look at San Francisco. How would you clean up San Francisco?
Eric, it's not about how I would clean it up. It's not in my hands. It's not in your hands. It's in the voters' hands. And the problem, Eric, the reality of the situation is that Democrat-led cities, not only are they destroying their own cities, but they're destroying all the other cities too. Because what we have happening is we have the liberal people who are voting for people like Kim Gardner and Tashora Jones moving out into St. Louis County and then destroying the county. And then once they've destroyed the county, guess what? Then they're moving out here to St. Charles County, Jefferson County, and then they're destroying those counties too. At some point, we can continue to keep moving west towards the middle of Missouri.
You've opened up a whole Pandora's box.
But you can't escape it. You can't escape it.
I guess. All right. So I try to be the voice of common sense on this show.
And then
I do absolutely my best, Vic. And here's the deal. I get frustrated when I hear that. I come from a land where it's like, if you say you can, you can. If you say you can't, you're absolutely right about that. Whatever you put in your head, you can do. I think that to be honest with you, there's been some little changes that our little show has made over the course of time since we started, especially in the Missouri State Legislature. We've had conversations before they actually came to fruition. I just think we are in a time when we're electing officials that are destroying, blithing major cities that they didn't make the investments in. People before them made the investments in. If we have to make laws for stupid people running blue cities, then it's time we frickin' do that.
That's great, but it's not going to happen.
Well,
yay, that's Tabitha Hassel, ladies and gentlemen. She'll be here all night long. Don't forget the tip of your double R.
But the middle ground on this, and there is middle ground, is that can it happen? You better believe it can happen.
Yeah, if we have a civil war.
No, because Andrew Bailey is proving it right now that, there is somebody that you're going to have to answer to. I don't care if you're an elected state official. We're going to go through the process. We're going to put together the information, the evidence against you, and it's going to be so damn overwhelming. If we go down this path, you're going to want to quit. and we'll see where it goes.
One of the gems in this country, San Francisco, is not even, you can't even book out a convention there anymore. It's an embarrassment. It's a shame.
And we get into that stuff. It is a sad thing. Hey, we're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're going to chill the mood a little bit. We're going to talk with our new advertisers. Glad that they're on board. Greenlight Dispensary. We're going to talk with a budtender. That's right. I was a bartender. We got a budtender who's going to explain.
It's a budtender.
Oh, you're going to have to ask him, a budtender.
Okay. You better have brought some.
A budtender. So we're going to check in with Greenlight. Marijuana was more popular and sold last year than both beer and chocolate. So it's growing. State of Missouri on record to be the fastest growing and most sales with marijuana of any state that's become legal in this year. They're rocking and rolling. Take a look at our partners first. We'll come back with Eric Masters from Greenlight right after this.
This is Dr. Mahesh Bhagway. I'm an orthopedic surgeon here in St. Louis for over the last 20 years. I went to Washington University. I got my medical degree at St. Louis University. From local high school athletes, college athletes, weekend warriors, injured workers, and even Cardinal baseball players, I've treated them all. Our practice strives to personalize care with every new patient being seen by me. To find me, contact my staff at drbagwe.com. That's DRBAGWE.com. Hopefully you don't need me, but if you do, you can find me now.
White Glove Exotic Services is St. Louis's first concierge vehicle service center. Alex David's team is passionate, certified technicians. They have industry-leading tools and equipment. They do it all. They pick up and deliver your car, hands-free. Plus, they have elite detailing service, customized PPF wraps and tinting, and inspection and titling assistance. White Glove also specializes in logistics and storing options, vehicle listings, and consignment. White Glove Exotic Services. Check them out at cancelthisshow.com.
Marco, wait. What? No response? Hi, I'm Curtis Sparks with Complete Auto Body and Repair, offering full service and auto repair to St. Louis and St. Charles. We are looking for someone to say polo. That's right, we are hiring. We want you now. If you would like to work in a well-paying environment, then you owe it to yourself to stop by one of our 6 Complete Auto Body and Repair locations. Will you help me find that missing person? Please call me directly at 636-488-HIRE. That's right, 636-488-4473.
Dad, and service.
Oh yeah, and service.
He fixes cars.
Carroll House has the largest selection of solid wood with the hottest new styles. Real furniture that's built to last, like our solid bedrooms, living rooms, and dining from Kincaid. Our volume enables us to save you a lot of money, especially during solid wood sale. Plus, get free financing, fast free delivery, and free in-home design. So for solid wood, sweet styles, and solid service since 1964, shop over 3 football fields of furniture at Carroll House, because you like nice things.
Jonathan, what does make Rockwood so special?
Rockwood, we carbonize it higher than anybody else does. So we're cooking out everything that produces ash, smoke, anything like that. It gives you a lot more control over the temperature, a lot more control over the fire, and it's a 100% Missouri product.
All right, where can people get it?
It's at 100-plus locations around St. Louis, any Deerberg, Straub's, meat markets, wine and cheese stores, hardware stores, you name it, we're around St. Louis. Just check the website.
And good charcoal should be able to break apart in your hands like
absolutely,
Rockwood does,
yeah.
right?
If you can't break it apart by hand, it's not charcoal yet. It's still wood. They didn't do the job, so make sure it can break apart by hand.
All right, get your Rockwood charcoal. Hey guys, welcome back into cancelthisshow.com. I'm Vic Faust with Tabitha Hassel. We've got Eric Johnson. He's getting his coffee. He'll be back in studio in a second. Pro Joe running the boards, making sure that we can look and sound as good as we possibly can. Lizzie Sparks running the live chat on 3 different platforms right now. And of course, you can catch all of our shows at cancelthisshow.com. You know what we do? It's day 117. News headlines, society, cancel culture, and of course, anything entertainment. Right now, we jump back into our interview session, and we turn things green in the studio for our next guest, jumping on board with Greenlight Dispensaries, if not one of the most popular, if not the most popular marijuana store that you're going to find. All of their stores, not only around the state of Missouri, but outside the state as well. We jump in with our new friend, Eric Masters from Greenlight Dispensary. Eric, good morning. Thanks for jumping in with us, my friend. How are sales?
Good morning. Thanks for having me. Sales are good.
You
Increased recreational more than expectation.
Yeah, I was going to say we've seen some of the figures that have come out. What do you think, and why do you think sales have taken Missouri by storm? Because I saw some figures that if it stays on the same pace, Missouri, that's right, the show me state, will break the record for most sales in its first year becoming legal.
I think there's several factors to that. One of them, this state, the organization, MoCan, and everybody else does a wonderful job. Picking up from your last conversation, I came here from San Francisco, as a matter of fact. I was there for 12 years with an ownership group in cannabis. Saw firsthand, medical transition to recreational there.
Mm-hmm.
Having come here and seeing what's going on, it's the best program in the state as far as I'm concerned, or in the country as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere. How long was Missouri kind of involved in getting all this stuff legalized and put together? And then what's the future from this point out?
So I came in a little after. So I think around 2017 is when the ball started rolling. I think you had to get applications in and everything started happening. 2019 is when I came in. They started cutting permits. And then we were open early 2020. So it was a relatively quick turnaround. And then obviously recreational just turned February 3rd of this year. So very healthy, expedited program.
Nice. Just not to jump in, but tax revenue. People like me, I don't smoke pot, but I do have a lot of friends that do, and I'm
maybe you need to start.
Maybe I do. What do you think the tax revenue is going to be like? I know it's going to be exponential, but just in the short term, how is the tax revenue going to be helping out communities like this?
So in this, again, they've done an interesting program with this. It's spread out pretty healthily. In the medical program, 4% went to the Veterans Association. So we continue to pay the 4% taxes to the Veterans Association out the gate. You get the normal sales tax. Each municipality now gets a 3%. And I think the county in whole was trying to gun for another 3%. So each individual municipality that the dispensary's in benefits directly from it. The veterans benefit directly from it, and then everybody as a whole. And with that being said, it's all built within a competitive tax structure, much better than Illinois. It's not predatory. It is built for the patients and the customers, and the products and medicine are still very affordable.
Nice.
I'd love to hear that stuff. Hey, we had a quick question for you. Are you guys caught up on product since 420?
So it's not, yeah. So there is a bit of a shortage right now. I don't know how much it's talked about, but again, that was another thing with what's going on with sales. The border state effect, I think, is a little stronger than anybody was ever anticipating.
Wow, that's a good point. So what are those
and
laws?
I don't know if people like to talk about it, but it is a fact, and it is something that affects what's going on.
No, I think that our audience is, everybody on this show is business minded. That is a great point, that your inventory. Now, how does that work with the state borders and all that stuff? It would be, obviously, it would be better if you had an entire plot of land that you could grow your own stuff, but you guys have to import that stuff from other places. Is that correct?
No. So that's not what I'm referring to. So everything, we're vertically integrated, and there's no interstate commerce. So all of our stuff is from Missouri and Missouri only. What's happening is all of the surrounding states that don't have a medical or recreational program are now crossing the state line. It is recreational use, 21 and up. So
that's crazy. We're hearing,
so it's like when we used to go to stages because you could get in stages at 17 years old.
Yeah, Tabitha, you were going to say what?
Yes, Eric. I'm very curious. What type of products do you sell? I came into one of the promotional deals at one of the dispensaries at one point, and I'm just curious. I mean, do you sell like the edibles? Is it the oils? I don't know what all the different range of products could be.
And again, so we're in the infancy of this market. There will be more coming out, but even at this point, we have everything from edibles to vapes to smokables. I've got transdermal patches. I've got compounds. I've got tinctures, plant-based pills, so they're non-caloric. I've got super high CBD to THC ratioed products for people who are not into psychoactivity. Anything that would make you interested in cannabis, I have a product for
What about people that are very curious about this? We used to have our good friend Scotty Gherkin. He, he's in the CBD world. As more people find out about your product and they're like, I just kind of want to experiment with it. How do you recommend that people get involved that had no, use of marijuana in the past?
Okay, so the best thing I would say is I've got a crew of budtenders handled one-on-one consultations, everybody from experience down below.
Okay.
My number one recommendation is to tell people to come into the shop, which I know some people are timid about.
Okay.
And I would like to point out, you can shop anonymously if you wanted. So you can come into the shop and go through the system. Nobody would ever know you were here. You wouldn't have to give your name or anything like that. And you can kind of get around that stigma. But coming into the shop is the number one thing. Going online is kind of expansive and a little overwhelming, but you can categorize and go through and kind of look at things that pique your interest, then come in. And we'll help. There it is right there.
Yeah,
help you narrow it down.
And we're talking with Eric Masters from Greenlight Dispensaries. First of all, talk about where your stores are, because to buy products, I don't think you can buy online, right? People have to come into the store to buy your products. So we wanted to make sure people understood where all your stores were, or they can go to canceltheshow.com. We have you guys listed on our site. Plus, they can go to your website. You guys are massive.
Yes. So in the St. Louis location, we've got 3 current open. Mine is the Berkeley location, 4451 Brown Road. That's Natural Bridge and Brown Road. We've got the Ferguson location that's at 5517 South Florissant. And then they have an underground, just a little side note. So the second weekend of every month, which is coming up on the 12th and 13th, I believe, they have an underground, which is a farmers market style sales thing where you purchase directly from the vendors at a discounted rate. There's music, there's food. It's a big celebration. And you go in this back cavernous second dispensary inside of the dispensary. But it's super cool.
Awesome.
And then we've got the Chippewa location down on, and I don't know the exact number, but it's Watson and Chippewa.
Man.
Yeah, there's several stores. And for our listeners, it's all throughout the state of Missouri, including, is it into Arkansas as well?
Not Arkansas. We are MSO. I know West Virginia could be, it is Arkansas, but they're medical only.
Okay,
so they
gotcha.
are in Arkansas.
No, that makes sense.
And then South Dakota, I feel like.
No, lots of questions coming in. Are companies still drug screening for marijuana now that it's legal?
So there are certain protections with a med card. I'm glad somebody asked that. That goes down this avenue. So med cards do have certain protections, and I believe employment protection is one of them. We also offer a med card program. So I have a lady in my shop 2 days a week. She's at the Ferguson location another 2 days. She'll aid and assist anybody who needs to get a med card for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And we have a discounted program of $49 to see the doctor, $25 to the state, and then we actually give you a $25 in-store coupon.
Hey, Eric, what questions do you hear most often from people coming in to buy? I'm sure that there are things you hear more often than others.
I mean, it's a lot of what y'all were saying, introductory questions. People that just wanted that just questions. I'm trying to narrow it down because the spectrum is very wide.
Let me give you one. So Lisa, one of our listeners, she says, I went in and this is how I would do it. Exactly how she did it. She goes, what do you have for someone to curb menopause problems? I mean, that might be a question. I mean,
there might be people who are coming in saying, what can I do to lose weight? Or what can I do to get more energy? Or
So, I mean, that would be an example of someone walking in, right? someone saying, I have menopause problems. I was told by a friend of mine, maybe next door, that said, you got to go check this place out, but I have no idea what to do. I mean, is that the kind of level of questioning that you guys might get?
100%. We'll get even more personal than that. That was actually a good one. And with that being said, it would be first, what's your preferred ingestion method? Are you wanting to smoke or vape, or would you prefer to do a topical or an edible? And then once I narrowed that down,
I didn't even know. No, that's great, man. I mean, so you can put a lotion on and
we've got transdermal compounds. And then I'll be honest, and to go down it, this is one of those products that we don't have here yet, but for the specific thing you're talking about, in California, we had suppositories, and they sold like hotcakes because of abdominal pain, menstrual cramps. They were a #1 selling product. And you'll probably see stuff like that end up in this market as well.
Do you ever think of yourself as a doctor? I mean, I'm not being funny. I'm seriously saying.
That's a great question, Eric.
I mean, if you go to a doctor, they're going to give you all kinds of pharmaceuticals, and they come to you with a suppository, and you fix their problems. You're helping them for the rest of their life, maybe.
It is 100. We call it consultation. We downplay it quite a bit, but in depth. Yes, we're RNs at minimum. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not a bad thing; it's a good thing. But it's
100%. And we're therapists also. We do.
Right.
We are here. We listen. We care. We're here for our patients and customers 100%.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
I'm talking with Eric Masters from Greenlight Dispensaries. You can check out their stores online on our website at canceltheshow.com, or you can go to their site for Greenlight Dispensaries. They've got stores all over the place. You can't buy online. You go into the store to buy. And once again, we've got a coupon as we continue this interview. Joe will pop that up. Just check out this download. You can download the coupon that we're showing you. That's a discount code for Cancel This, so that Greenlight Dispensary knows that you've got a $5 off first purchase.
Yeah.
That way they can track too from that standpoint to see who's watching, who's going out to check on what Eric's talking to us today about. So that's a Cancel This discount code that you can use to go in there and find out whatever you need to do. What has been one of your most popular products throughout all of your stores? Because you just whipped off about 15 things, Eric, that you guys have. And even though I know a little bit, I'm like, how does the average person who is not an expert know what this product here can do for you, this product here? So what's popular these days?
Well, with the shortage, the obvious, flour is king. At the end of the day, it's, 60% of my net sales, my gross sales. So that is definitely king. With that being said, in the shortage of that, vaporizers are becoming more and more popular. They're discreet. Nobody knows necessarily what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's a convenient, fast way to medicate.
Back in the day, it's funny. When I was like in my teens, my next door neighbors, they knew so much about pot, and they used their little looking glass to see how many crystals were in it, and they could tell you what everything was.
But I'm looking at Eric's website with Greenlight. My gosh,
I know
there's so much.
I know. Do people?
That's why you need to get into the store too.
Do people ever come into your store and know more about the product than you do?
Self-education with the internet and Reddit. I learn stuff every day. I'm not going to lie. And I've been in this industry 12 plus years. You are 100% correct.
Hey man, tell me about the red bud with the Sensimilia that has like 42,000 crystals per square. It's like, that's how you know. Okay, let's have a talk.
Okay, if somebody's kind of on edge and they may not be feeling like themselves, what would you offer?
So on edge, and this is an interesting one too. For the longest time, I always assumed that when people talked about anxiety, that they wanted to suppress it, that the ideal was that I feel anxious, I want to kind of suppress that. And just a quick anecdote, I had a person come in, I'm anxious, I'm anxiety, I want something. I gave them a good indica to relax them. And they came back and they're like, well, I went to the party and I was just sat on the couch and I just wanted to eat popcorn and not talk to anybody. And it blew my mind. They didn't want something to suppress it. They wanted something to make them talkative. They wanted to be motivated a little bit. So now when people ask that, it's, do you want to suppress it? Or are you trying to find something a little giggly and talky to get you going?
Yeah.
And
Tabitha needs a sativa.
Don't even go there with me. Because when you said that, I knew you were talking about me. Because you know what, Eric?
Me.
You might want to go back and watch the beginning of the show. Eric needs something to make him shut up. Do you have anything that does that?
It's called duct tape.
good strong indica. That's the
We'll do that.
Touche.
We'll all
I
take.
deserve
We'll take different gummies.
Because trust me, I'm not on edge. I'm just going to defend myself to the very death.
I answered it nobody. I wouldn't mind trying.
Exactly, Joe.
If we can do like a sampling, something where you're like, look, if you take this, it'll increase your. See, I want to increase energy, and I want energy. Because when I go on stage, because I play on Fridays and Saturday nights a lot of the time, I want to bump up a little bit just to get a little bit more in. Is there anything like that?
Yeah, I've got one product. So
no, I don't.
It turns out that THCV is that energetic component that makes a sativa a true sativa. And Chiba Chew has a little Laffy Taffy that's a It's pure energy, man. Come on in. I'll get you taken care of.
I want to try that so bad because it's just a you know how it is, Vic.
It's a shot of espresso. I've got to warn you, man.
I am so used to espresso. It's unbelievable. I can handle this.
And I'm assuming, Eric, I mean, I know so little about this, which is why I'm not asking that many questions because I just have no idea. But it's all natural, correct?
Yes. And well, here's the other thing I don't think people realize too.
To it.
Well, we're third-party tested. So in this state and every state, testing facilities are not allowed to be owned by, retail owners, manufacturers, or cultivators. So it's a third-party company. They test parts per million. So your heavy metals. I have a COA for everything that we have that shows where the product came from, seed to sale, and the testing particulates in it. Pesticides-free, heavy metal-free. Everything,
man. I'll tell you what, our chat line's going nuts. I'd have to swing a dead cat just to hit one of these things.
No, it's true.
Unbelievable.
It's so popular these days.
I've never seen our chat line go this nuts.
Well,
and there's a lot of people have questions and don't want to come in. This stigma
absolutely
is very strong.
Yeah.
And there's such a push these days to get rid of pharmaceuticals and use something natural because we're so tired of putting chemicals into our body. And even though I don't personally use it, maybe someday I will, but and I certainly would if I had a health condition I thought it would improve. But you think when something that God gave us to use for healing properties is so much better for you than something some pharmaceutical companies make.
Yeah, I agree, Tab. Anything that's you can go and get some help. And is there any downside to this, man? Is there something like if I recommended my brother, I said, man, go to this store. Is there anything you go, now here's a disclaimer, and then fill in the blank. Is there anything that you can think of?
Look, at the end of the day, and it's like anything else, if you're inhaling it, you have the risk of smoking. Outside of smoking, cannabis has no negative anything. Rick Simpson cured skin cancer with it. Once you do ignite something and combust it, there's carbon residuals. You can't do it with anything. Nicotine's healthy. Nicotine in certain forms is healthy. Smoking it is atrocious for you.
Yeah.
It's a similar thing. It's unfortunate about smoking, but outside of that, no.
Okay.
Munchies and a good nap is about your only risk.
Yeah. No. Oh, curing an
that
ailment,
was the voice
getting
of God
sleep.
right there. That was.
And I like the CBD cream. One of our friends who makes products gave me some face serum, and I'll tell you what, I think my skin has never felt better or looked better.
Yeah, they don't sell that at their store. They're all THC.
But what somebody on the comment line was saying is they were going to come in and buy some of your THC products, and they were going to make their own cream.
Yeah,
100%. We have people make edibles out of our products. There is. The ingenuity of people is amazing.
I love what we're seeing here. What is something that might be a misnomer these days when it comes to the industry that you're in for people using products? Or, for example, if I see you thinking again, Eric. For example, when it comes to the use of marijuana, maybe over, let's say, something pharma related.
Oh.
Over pharma related?
Be careful. Pfizer's listening.
I mean, oh yeah, no, believe you me. They didn't want us here. DuPont didn't. Nobody wanted us here, and we're here.
Wow.
So,
wow. That's very interesting to me because we don't know the backstories on a lot of these things.
They see you as competition.
So we had, between hemp and fiber, you had DuPont against us. You had alcohol against us, tobacco. You had the church against us. You had, dude, it's quite impressive that cannabis made it where it did with as much corporate backing to kill this stuff, billions and billions of dollars over the last 100 years, 80 years.
Because unlike alcohol, which everybody equates this with, alcohol is one of the worst things you can put in your body with all the sugar and the carcinogenics and killing people on the highways. It's weird when you do the compare and contrast between alcohol and marijuana. Marijuana has a much better, safer track record. And on top of that, now we're learning it actually helps conditions that are wide conditions. You can't drink and drive. Can you smoke pot and drive?
No. So, and it's very thin lines. I think those are the new things, but again, I treat it like alcohol when it comes to being behind the wheel of a car. I don't want any problems or questions or anything. So, are they
going to have to develop laws for marijuana and now that it's legal? Because it's like, there's a blood alcohol test that will get you in trouble. Is there a THC test that will get you in trouble?
As of now, there's not. They treat it as a DUI. I believe that they do go down as driving under the influence. Again, with what you're saying, it's fat soluble, so it's in your lipids and stays in your body much longer. So blood testing isn't as accurate. I don't know how they hold up in court. I'll be honest with a DUI against marijuana.
I'm just asking. I'm not making any suggestions.
Don't they have a breathalyzer though? I heard they have a breathalyzer.
I haven't heard that.
I don't know.
That would be hard. That would be, I don't know.
That would be different.
Okay. And I have another common question for you. Can you overdose on marijuana?
In the sense that you can take a dose that is uncomfortable, 100%. Overdosing in the sense of killing yourself, like you think of opiates and what you would do with that. No, it's not like that. You can get too high and very uncomfortable especially with edibles, extended amounts of time, but your endocannabinoid system will purge that. You will go back to, feeling normal again.
Question from our comments. Do edibles give you the munchies?
They can. They can. And being a lot of chocolate and sugars, those can be kind of problematic with that, especially if you're using it at nighttime. So they do have the alternatives. We've got those plant-based pills. We do have things that kind of get you away from the habit of eating gummies, which kind of makes you want to eat more gummies.
It is interesting. I went to watch Eric's in a band, Platinum Rock Legends. He's a superstar. And we went and watched him Saturday night. And I asked somebody, it's like, hey, did you want to drink? And they're like, no. It's like, I've got my gummies and I'm cool. So so it's a whole new interesting people like, no, I've got my gummies. I'm cool. I'm having a great time. And they just didn't want to drink alcohol.
Yeah, the industry's going to become a multi-trillion-dollar industry the day that you're able to sell gummies to bars and clubs and restaurants, and it becomes. I mean, you're right. We're in this weird era right now where there's still a stigma in it. When the stigma is gone and the next generation comes out, and they're like, we don't have any stigma about it.
I think the stigma is
exactly. Can I get you
fast?
Can I get you a beer? Can I get you a plate of gummies? That's what your waiter's going to say eventually, because it's a social, it can be a social thing, right? I mean, for the most part,
it 100%
medical
is.
thing, or doesn't have to be recreational, but it can be the same kind of thing that maybe you enjoy some gummies at a restaurant somehow. Eventually, do you see that, or am I just like completely out of my mind?
Well, the problem with that is the licensing and the way that through the medical transition to recreational, it's very, very, very regulated. So they tend to be isolated. I did hear that I think Circle K in Florida, some Canadian company is partnering with them and trying to put dispensaries in Circle K's, which would be kind of the first step in that direction.
Yeah. The reason I say that is
it's hard to. It's
Keystone Ski Lodge, one of them up there in Colorado, actually sold a packet of THC gummies as you were getting your ski rentals. And I was like, this can't be right. It can't be right. But
That's not a good idea.
It was exactly. I was like, is that CBD? No, that's THC.
Not unless you're going really slow.
And we fed my brother one, and he almost went into a tree. Anyway, those things can be strong. Are there on the labels? Do you say please do not eat this whole thing. Cut it in half.
There's warnings, and then our methodology, this is what we tell anybody, especially new people. You can always eat more. You can never uneat your dose.
Bam. What a great way of putting it.
Yeah.
Stick by it. And here's the other thing with your physiology and what you've eaten and every factor that goes into it.
Yes.
It takes about 2 hours before I feel the desired effects.
Okay.
That's very good advice because I've only eaten edibles once. I've never been high ever in my life.
Okay.
But one time I tried edibles with a friend of mine who works in your industry. And even though he works in the industry, he's like, well, it takes 45 minutes to take effect. Well, then when nothing happened, he's like, well, let's eat another one. And then another one. And the next thing you knew, we slept for like 15 hours.
So you have been high at least
But it
once.
was fine. I mean, nothing bad happened or nothing.
That's what you need.
Weird
You need
happened.
some sleep.
Did you have fun doing it?
Stop telling me I need stuff.
Not in a negative way. You have been able to sleep because you're working your tail
Do
off.
you remember enjoying the experience? Let me ask you that.
It was funny. It was funny because it was like the TV was
I would pay
3D
$1,000
colors
right now to see Tabitha stoned. I
couldn't
love
stand up straight. What was interesting is I couldn't stand up straight. When I walked, I was like walking sideways. But it didn't hurt me. It didn't have any bad effects. I felt perfectly fine the next day.
Exactly.
And if that was alcohol, that wouldn't be the case.
Yeah.
And we do try to tell people to avoid that. I tell people to wait a solid 2 hours before even considering taking that next dose, just to make sure you're not getting a latent response.
Latent response.
And trust me, listen to his advice.
Yeah.
Listen to his advice.
Yeah.
And what she was talking about is an
that's a good
overdose.
time.
That's what an overdose would be considered, sleeping too long.
Oh, God forbid.
But it's not dangerous. I wasn't no way in harm of dying or anything. I actually had the most sleep I've ever had in my life.
So is marijuana a gateway to psilocybin eventually?
I hate the gateway. No, I think a certain type of person finds psilocybin. I don't think it has anything to do with cannabis. I think that's a breed of person.
Okay. Yeah.
I think sugar is the real gateway drug. If there's a gateway drug out there,
yes,
what we're feeding our kids is sugar.
Thank you.
Pop-Tarts is a gateway drug, Vic.
Trust me, it's taking me a long time to try to get unaddicted.
Me
and
too.
I fight it all the freaking time.
Me too.
It's the hardest one.
Yeah.
And it gets you into everything else.
You're absolutely
really
right. You are right.
So is there anything I want to give you a chance right now too? Anything that we haven't talked to you about or asked you about that you think's important as we kind of give introductory information, because we're going to continue a series of joining Greenlight people like Eric and some of his colleagues teaching us about products, what they have, how they can help you, your family, whatever may be the case. Anything that we haven't spoken about that you think's important to remind people about, or any information?
I wanted to double back because we keep talking about the online menu. And although you can't purchase online, you can pre-order.
Okay.
And you can pick it. You can do Dutchy Pay and actually pre-authorize the payment. And then we have a drive-through at Here and Florissant. So again, for anonymous purchases, if you didn't want to come in, place your pre-order, come on through the drive-through. You'll be on your way in no time.
It's great.
Yeah, and you can trust Greenlight. You can. Eric, an example of what the company's doing. We've learned a lot this morning, that's for sure, with what we're starting to see come in, come out with all the products, some of the things that you've been talking about. I did get another question, Eric, before we let you go. Are we starting to see any THC drinks? We've seen Monster drinks. We've seen Gatorade. I mean, are there THC drinks? Do you sell them currently?
We currently do. So if you go to edibles, they should be listed there. Or if you look up Keith, can you go to just the search panel?
Yes.
Yeah, Joe, nice job.
Joe's kicking it.
Yeah, he really is. Okay, what is he supposed to type in?
Just put in KI and it should come up.
KI. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people like at midnight searching this stuff out.
And Eric, a couple people since you've been on the show have already messaged me, and they want to come in, and they said when they actually come into the store, do they need to show their driver's license?
So yes, you generally okay. So if you want to come through with the full experience, you give your driver's license at the receptionist. They put you into the POS system. We put you into the sales floor. You get a one-on-one consultation with a budtender. Show them your ID to confirm that we are indeed selling to that person.
Okay.
But there is a way to also come in and not show
There
your
you
driver's
go.
license. license.
Yes, that was the full experience. There's your drinks. There's some of them right there.
Interesting.
And then the second one is if you come in, you would just have your ID ready and say, hey, I'd like to shop anonymous. Then you go onto the sales floor. When you go up to the register, you just let them know you're shopping anonymous. They build out an anonymous profile, and you're good to go.
So
excellent.
So I'm taking what's the age limit? If you
21. You have to be 21.
Okay, 21 years
21
old.
and up.
That's great. It's an industry that's responsible. I like it.
It is. And you know, especially on a show like this, Eric, so many of our listeners, they're so interested in avoiding the pharmaceuticals. Like I said earlier, they want something natural. They want a system where they can come in and shop anonymously because they don't want their information to be held. It's so amazing that you offer all of these things in one place.
Yes.
No, it is. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, just a one-stop shop. Again, we can get your med card. We can get you anonymous. We haven't even talked about it, but I have a glass. You can get any apparatus you need to consume as well. We've got it all here. So any question or anything you have, come on into a Greenlight, any of the 3 locations, Chippewa, Berkeley, or Ferguson, and soon to be Rock Hill.
Bring it to St. Charles. Let's go. We need some fantastic. We need some love out in St. Charles.
Wait. No, I said that. It's Rock Hill off of Manchester. I said that wrong.
Yes. Rock Hill off of Manchester. I know the logo, so the brand is starting to work.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And can I ask one more question before I go, Eric? I'm just assuming that as a bud tender, all of your bud tenders know all of the products. I'm sure they've used all of the products so that they can educate people that come in.
As much as possible. You would be surprised with how many SKUs we have. I have hundreds of gummies, hundreds of vapes. We're knowledgeable. If it's a product we haven't consumed, we can recommend, refer, and talk about it as well.
Excellent.
But it's kind of hard to expect the bud tenders to consume everything there is. They do a good job.
They would like to.
Do you do while you work? I mean, that's a legitimate question, right?
No. So it's like a normal job. There's no consumption on, nobody's medicating on their job.
Good.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
But
we do. When you go to the doctor, you don't want him to know that he's on the Oxycontin. Hey, what's going on?
We're going to continue to keep up to date with you guys, whether it's you or some of your other colleagues. But I can't wait to learn about specific products. And I really, really, really started to see some of the value in marijuana when it came to having somebody close to me in my family that didn't want to take some of the pharma drugs and started looking at this stuff and some of the, I guess you'll say the advantages that it really helped with, as you said, anxiety, depression, things of that nature. So we will get into specific products as we continue this relationship with Greenlight. That's for sure.
I mean, the topics of conversation, you would need 45 days just to get through them all. I mean, seriously, I keep thinking about this. I go, here's what's going to make this industry go nuts. Is when you have people who weren't privy to marijuana in the past now tell a friend that I took this gummy and it solved my menopause problems. Just that one little nugget alone will go exponential as far as the growth of
pain
this.
control. My grandmother, before she passed away,
Pain control,
she was in so much pain. I gave her one of those little vape pens because you're willing to do anything to help your family, or if you're in that much pain, to help yourself without taking actual narcotics.
Yeah, it helped me accept the Patriots winning a Super Bowl a few years ago.
What did you take?
I would have been. It was a very, very nice gummy, and it was my Patriots gummy. And I didn't care that they ended up winning. Thank God.
Greatest of all time.
Eric, love you, man. Eric Masters, Greenlight Dispensaries. You can check them out on our website, cancelthisshow.com. But we also have a code. So here's the code. It's the cancel code. So when you go into the store or you make your pre-order, you're supposed to say you've got the cancel code. It's $5 off that Greenlight is providing. So you can see it. It's the cancel this discount code. Give you $5 off. It helps them track too. Who's listening, who's going into their stores, just to give them an idea of what they're doing when it comes to this advertising side.
Love it.
We appreciate it. It's the cancel this code. Eric, we'll talk to you next time, brother. Appreciate it. Thank you
Thanks for having me.
Good luck for everything when it comes to Greenlight Dispensaries.
Next time he comes on the show, I want a THC latte.
Oh, that sounds good.
It sounds yummy.
That does sound good.
Yeah.
Think
they make that for you?
The sativa, I think that's you should do that.
Dude, I'm not skittish about any of that stuff.
No, you should.
Not at all.
You should try some of that stuff.
I will.
Or we all try one on the show and then.
It's hard to talk about something when you don't know what you're talking about, right?
Isn't that the truth?
I mean, seriously. I mean,
that's why you ask questions.
Yeah.
That's why you ask questions.
I know nothing about banking.
Well, it is. This is cancelthisshow.com. We appreciate Greenlight jumping on as an advertiser as well. So they're going to give it a run, see what happens, and see what we can get done. Lizzie Sparks doing a great job as always on 3 separate platforms with your comments. Joe Pro running an amazing board. You're doing a damn good job. We appreciate it, Joe.
Yes, he is.
Eric Johnson, Tabitha Hassel. I'm Vic Faust. We switch gears here, and it's a good thing. We'd probably need a gummy or two to understand what the hell is going on with Tab's Take Today, her daily segment, because in a million years, I never would have thought we would have this headline. When you sent it to me yesterday, I was like, they're suing what? For who? And what's this about? Yeah, so here's today's Tab's Take.
Absolutely. You know, in the country of Iran, which we all know, we all have our opinions on Iran, they're actually suing Obama, Bush, the CIA, the American Airlines, and a couple other organizations here in the United States, because they had 2 terror attacks that took place in Iran, committed by ISIS, and they are claiming that the Obama administration, along with George Bush and the United States CIA, created ISIS.
Yeah, and
therefore, the folks that were killed, there were 17 people that were killed in one of these bombings.
Mm-hmm.
The families won a $313 billion lawsuit.
With a B?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any doubt in anybody's mind that's listening that what they accuse isn't true? It's 100% true.
It's 100%.
It has to be 100%.
And it's M with a
I've read so many articles regarding Obama and ISIS. I had never really heard a strong connection to Bush, but I wouldn't be surprised considering how tight
it happened during
Bushes
and the
Obamas are.
Exactly. It happened under Bush's watch, because I think most of us know that whenever we went into Iraq to oust Saddam Hussein and we withdrew, we left all of that equipment. There are billions of dollars worth of equipment, just like we did in Afghanistan, billions of dollars worth of equipment. And whenever we took Saddam out, that gave rise to his opponents. And his opponents ended up forming several terror organizations, one of them being ISIS. Saddam wasn't a good guy, but what he did do is he kept the bad guys down. He was the lesser of two evils.
Saddam was like the black rat snake in your backyard. It doesn't look good, but it keeps all the rats away.
Exactly.
You don't kill it.
He wasn't a good guy, but
what a great analogy.
That's exactly what he was.
Right. That's exactly what he was.
That mangy alley cat.
Yeah. That snake is scary, but look at all these freaking moles.
Exactly. And because we left all of that equipment there, well, guess what? And they didn't have Saddam in charge to keep these people at bay, because people said, well, Saddam killed, hundreds of people, thousands of people. Well, he killed thousands of people that were potentially trying to rise up and create these terror organizations. So when we took Saddam out, well, guess what happened? These terror organizations rose up. And then during Obama's administration, he actually funded them it was over $500 million that we, the United States, gave of our taxpayer money into a project called Timber Sycamore. And we funded ISIS. We funded some of the worst terrorists. These terrorists, the program failed miserably. And what ended up happening is the same exact terrorists that we funded, that we worked side. And remember Obama back in the day, he said, well, these are the moderate terrorists. They're not the bad ones. They're the moderate terrorists. Well, they ended up chasing our special operations that trained them all the way out of Syria into Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
And then they went on to kill thousands of Syrians and several Americans. Remember whenever we had the journalist that was held in the cage and burned alive?
Oh my God, yes.
These were the same people
thinking about that
Obama funded and trained. We gave them weapons. It was the most failed operation in our country's history. $500 million to train these terrorists who went on to kill Americans and threatened to kill our special operations.
How soon we forget. That's
why we forget.
That's why I appreciate you doing these segments and jumping in on some of these things.
Now, of course, the problem is that Obama, Bush, American Airlines, the CIA, they don't have any property. They don't have any business holdings in Iran. Iran will never get this money.
But you know what?
They'll never get the money.
But there are funds there are funds of money that the United States gives to certain countries that believe it or not, we're still giving tons of money away despite our own economic problems.
Well, look at the palette of cash that
I have a lawyer friend who goes after money. He's a personal injury attorney. He lives in Puerto Rico most of the time, who sues other countries. Now, this is the reverse, but he sues other countries for military members who were injured by their weapons or their people. And so money that's going to their country from the United States, aid, so to speak, you can take that money and give it to military guys. Or money that's going to other places, they could sue back and take out of certain funds.
And that can happen in this case. If we have anything in Iran, they could technically seize it. And so they've been trying to seize and have seized some of our Navy ships. I mean, Iran could technically seize American property and say that it is to pay off this debt. They could potentially do that.
And with this current administration being so inept, it would happen easily. It would happen. There's so much going on in this country right now, no matter who was running it. I mean,
but doesn't it upset you that we all fear ISIS? We all fear terror groups, but yet we find out where our government is actually funding them. I mean, it shouldn't surprise anyone, but we fund the people who come back into this country in terror cells and kill Americans. We give them money. We give them weapons. It's unbelievable to me. We are our own. And no wonder that so many countries hate the United States.
It's because
why they hate Americans.
Well, it's because of those 3 letters that we talked about on a previous podcast.
Exactly. We had Putin calling out
the
CIA earlier.
It's because of those 3 letters. And then there's a deep dive that goes into that with what the CIA actually is all about, what they're trying to make work, the situations around the world. When you start to talk to people, and Tabitha's brought this up before, from other countries that have had some of these things happen, they know so much more about our own 3-letter agencies than we even do.
Because you know what? You will not find this in American news. No. You know where this information is? It's in Al Jazeera. Yeah. It's in the China Morning Times.
I thought Al Jazeera got canceled.
Well, you know what? You have to read it. If you want to read real news, go read Al Jazeera. Because they outlawed it on our cable networks.
I'm hearing you guys talk, and sometimes there's topics on this show that, since I'm not a expert on foreign policy, I know what I know. But when I hear that, and I hear the word deep state, which is kind of goes in with what you're talking about, it's this new thing with Biden, how FBI and CIA have a document that shows how the leader of the free world is completely compromised, apparently. Yeah,
whistleblower.
And I just saw a video of, guess who? Chris Cuomo doing a story on News Nation talking about the Bidens being compromised. And I was like, well, that sounds weird. It's like, it's like the deep state, they're doing things, or they're suppressing things from us that are legitimate, but they're creating things that are illegitimate also. So they're on both sides. They're on defense and offense at the same time. And these are the things that I pick up from this. Not that we went and gave a couple of, AR-15s to the Taliban or whatever. It's more about, let's take a look at their headquarters and find out what the hell they're doing and try to put these pieces together. This thing could absolutely crush Biden, this document that is supposedly being suppressed by the FBI and the CIA. I'm now looking at liberal news organizations at least scraping the surface of this story, right? What does that mean exactly? Where are we at? Are we at a turning point?
No,
nothing's going to happen.
You don't think anything's going to happen?
Here's why. This is the closest, Eric. It's a great point. This is the closest to the Bidens, even with the presidential
not
documents.
To the Bidens, to these organizations.
The Bidens and their connections to overseas leaders in their countries getting payments.
Mm-hmm.
However, here's the problem. Because getting the documents, and the FBI would have to release the document or documents. So,
they would have to.
You'd have to take them to court. So the subcommittee, they would have to take and subpoena them to court, and the legal battle would expect it to be about 3 or 4 years.
But it's political also. You didn't throw that dynamic in there, because can Christopher Wray really go, well, we gotta sue you over this? No, you guys didn't do that with Trump. So there's this.
No, it is political.
It's this visualization of
Joe
the scares
Biden
now.
I agree. Joe Biden will not be in office by the time this was persisted upon.
Yeah.
Now, in my mind, something will come of it, but I don't think he's going to be in office by the time.
He'll never be in a jail cell.
See, time is running out for the Democrats because the Democrats don't want this old fool to run again. They don't. I'm sorry. They just don't. Nobody, the left wing doesn't want him to run. The middle of the road doesn't want him to run. No Republican wants him to run. I said this maybe 6 months ago. I'll say it again. I'm wondering, is this the catalyst that takes this clown down?
Take him down in what way? I mean,
where the Lester Holtz of the world go, tonight on NBC Nightly News, we have new information that Biden completely sold out the country. And then all of a sudden,
and then
he's gone.
No, because
he's gone.
Because you know what that would mean, Eric?
What? And I'm just.
And today, Donald Trump is elected president.
Wrong. No.
Not
Hold on, Vic. Because look, like we talked about yesterday, this Super Bowl, if it's Trump and Biden, is the similarities of the Jacksonville Jaguars, a very boring team, and the Jets, another very boring team, going to the Super Bowl. You'll have no one watching the damn thing.
Actually, those teams are on the rise.
You're missing my point. Anyway, I think people would like to see a Gavin Newsom come in, or someone that has some vigor, someone that is going to shake things up. They do not see Biden getting in Air Force One, flying from Seattle, Washington, all the way across the country, doing any kind of a campaign. I'm a conspiracy theorist too.
I like that.
I'm a conspiracy theorist too. I'm wondering if this isn't the green light that NBC, CBS, and ABC had a retreat somewhere and said, ladies and gentlemen, the eagle has landed. Eagle has landed. Operation Greenlight is a go.
If Hillary Clinton didn't end up behind bars,
of course I'm kidding.
During Donald Trump's term, nothing is going to happen to
kidding.
Biden or any of his family members because they're a part of the Democrat regime. And in this country, the Democrat regime runs the courthouse. They run the judicial system. Nothing will ever
get
happen.
Katie Couric on the phone.
But oh my God. But guys, the final subject for today before we get out, this is a great one, Eric. You're going to be laughing about this one. Okay, you can't make this stuff up sometimes. We got a bearded man who won, I repeat, he won a women's poker tournament. Dave Hughes is a 70-year-old bearded man in Florida.
Yeah.
And he entered the all-women poker tournament at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. He then won the $250 no-limit Texas Hold'em event with a prize of $17,450.
Wow. I remember when that happened. Why? Because he could.
83 poker players in the tournament, all of them female, except Dave. Now, no disrespect to women, because there's a lot of great female poker players.
Yeah.
He was the last one to enter, and he defeated a woman at the end of the contest and took home the first prize. Florida casinos are evidently prohibited from disallowing men to enter women's tournaments by anti-discrimination laws. So Hughes said, you know what? Deal me in. He jumped in.
Oh, my God.
The World Series of Poker's ladies event has a $10,000 buy-in tournament, and women receive 90% discounts in hopes of keeping men from entering the game.
How about that?
So he just said, F all y'all, I'm entering, and then he ended up winning against all the ladies.
I don't have an issue with that. I think it's just a matter of either poker's a funny game, but either he outplayed them.
Yeah.
It's not the same as running track or swimming or
it's a game of chance.
A man's body is physiologically different.
Yes. Of all the things that
a woman could have just as easily beat him.
Of all the things that you could say, look, we're not going to have all women and all men competitions. Cards would be one of them. Chess might be another one of them. Checkers, board games,
anything
where I don't have to check up against Tabitha Hassel because she would kick my ass. If anything that is not in a physical contact arena, I think is a logical solution to this stuff. I do. I'm sorry, but you could destroy the WNBA within 10 years with a bunch of transgendered basketball players who are 7'2" and are able to box out a 5'2" power forward from the Seattle Reign or whatever the hell it is. So this is a good story in the fact.
I love this story.
Yeah, it's a good story. It is.
You don't care if men start jumping in to these all-women competitions?
No, I don't even understand why
shouldn't even be one.
An all-woman competition, quite honestly.
Correct.
There shouldn't be all men, all women when it comes to those types of games.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not physiological. You're not going to, it's not because a man is smarter so they can't play with women. I mean, we see poker tournaments where women win, men win.
It's a game of chance.
It's a game of chance.
It would be
That's
like
a game of skill too.
Yeah. Well, kind of, but yes, it's more of a game of skill than playing the slots. Today we have George versus Sally in slots at the Maristar Casino. It wouldn't matter because it's completely irrelevant.
I would have liked to have watched it.
Why?
Just because we have a bearded man who is definitely not identifying as a female.
No, not at all.
Just claims
Yeah.
he did it because he could. He did.
But
it
then it does beg the question:
He
Are
probably just
ladies,
wanted to
are
play.
women not allowed to have their little clubs and sororities anymore? Seriously, if I want to join the Epsilon Omega sorority at Mizzou, can I not do that anymore?
That's gonna.
Can I now be part of your one?
That's a little different because you're living with other females.
I can sue you.
Sharing bathrooms.
I'm a female.
Sharing bedrooms.
I'm a female.
Well, there was
Why do
a
you not look
woman.
like a female?
There's a woman who posted a tweet as part of the story, and Dave's showing us a picture. Or this is Dave. Joe's showing us a picture of Dave right now. She said, playing at the WPT ladies event today. And Dave here,
he's so petite,
is the only man. While we appreciate the dead money, I really wish men would get what these events actually stand for.
What's that?
So I put a $300 bounty on his head, and Tamra and Noah Pitteritt matched it. Let's go get him today. And then he ended up winning the competition. Dave.
Sucks to be them.
So Dave's made national headlines.
Then why don't you speak up? Then speak up against. Why don't you speak up then? If you guys, this is not a man's fight. I'm sorry, transgenderism is not a man's fight. It's not. It is a woman's fight. This is for women.
Now,
this is for
he's
women.
Not a transgender.
This is for women to coagulate and say we've had enough of this. The media is against us. The government's against us. We are the women of the United States. We've had enough of this. Knock it off. And they don't do it. They just don't. As a matter of fact, you could make a case that it's 50-50, the ladies in college sports that say we like transgendered athletes playing in us.
Well, and a more serious note about this and what's happening, now cycling's governing body defends transgender participation rules after an uproar. They just had a biological man destroy females in cycling.
Okay.
Then that's wrong.
Here it comes. The avalanche of sports are coming.
I told you this 2 years ago, Vic, and you looked at me and you said, you're full of crap.
What you told me is
I said you're full of garbage.
I'm going to tell you what I told you. You told me, Vic, you're going to have people getting sex changes just so they can win sports.
Yep.
That's not it. I said, besides, before you can, and this, we're not even saying these are sex changes, just like Dylan Mulvaney. These are people who started to say they're going to identify. My deal is you don't just go get a sex change because you want to win a sport, and you're not allowed to.
Wrong.
99% of these surgeries, Eric, are done only after individuals have been working with a counselor for a long period of time, and there is a serious psychological thing going on with somebody who thinks that they are the opposite sex from which they were born.
Sucks to be born now. I guess.
Don't. 99% of them going through counseling. You just don't up and say, "Hey, I'm going to be a different."
Here's the conversation.
Because
So you have a daughter. You have a daughter in college.
Yes, I do.
What if she was amazing in sports and she was -- 1 ranked at the Wentzville High School and she was the best volleyball player in the state of Missouri?
She's all-American social.
Fantastic. Would say she was the #1 spiker. She had scholarships all over the place. And then all of a sudden, as she's a freshman in high school at Wentzville, you hear this weird story. Man, there's this girl that's playing over at Zumwalt. Man, she can spike like a bitch. And you go, okay, well, that's not a big deal. All of a sudden, 2 years later, now there's 5, 6, 7 of these spikers in the GAC conference. Do they still have a GAC conference?
Yeah.
I don't even know. And now all of a sudden, your daughter, who was primed to be able to write her own ticket in scholarships, has to now compete with guys across the board in the sport that she trained so hard for.
No parents like that.
That's the thing that drives me nuts is do you not realize what you're doing to your daughters? This guy maybe couldn't play volleyball on an all guys team, but my God, he is primed to go to Notre Dame playing for an all girls volleyball team as a varsity squad member as a freshman.
And then your daughter gets passed over for
And then your
scholarship.
daughter gets passed over.
Can that stuff happen? Absolutely. Are there sex changes being involved with kids that are under 18? That's a whole nother subject. That's where you have, so the analogy that you give or the example, there's a lot of moving parts there.
It's amazing. And it sucks. It sucks. Because I used to love going to the WNBA games in Seattle. And it was great. You'd see the content. You would see they were very competitive. It was really nice to do. But there's going to become a day when
we may be getting there. It's interesting because it's the Olympic sports right now where you're seeing it in regards to swimming, Leah Thomas, and then now cycling, where cycling's governing body has been put into a situation where they're having to we got to make some decisions here. Because the world governing body for cycling, they defended, the name is Austin Killups, Austin, after the transgender female cyclist took home the overall victory in a very big race, the Tour of Gila in New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And Austin, the transgender female, just zoomed away from the pack in the final minutes like nothing happened. And dominated the race, becoming the first transgender female to win a stage race.
Yeah.
And then when you look at the picture of the three of them, the top three, I mean, you're like, oh, there's a man with two women.
You know what's going to be funny? Here, let me tell you what's going to be funny. The day that a woman destroys someone, a man transgendered in powerlifting.
Well, it happened in a UFC fight.
I never saw that video.
Oh, yeah. It happened recently, and I think it was across seas. A biological male broke, like, literally entire face of a true female.
No, I'm not talking about that.
Fight.
Flip it. What if the female beat the crap out of the guy?
Oh. Okay.
I'm sure it's happened. Maybe we just haven't heard about it. But I would think that it's happened. It's in you guys being guys, I see your point. But me being a female, I have a completely different take on it.
Okay, good.
And that is that women fought so hard.
Yes.
So hard to be able to even have professional sports teams.
Go on.
You know, look at some of the women who were harassed and even arrested when they attempted to play different sports. And they worked so hard to get where we are now in women's sports. To have that taken away, to have men infiltrate something that we worked for, that's finally ours. It should never happen. It should never be allowed. It makes me sick. I don't know what the answer for it is, and it'll never happen under the Biden.
Well, it always sounds so sexist, this argument. It's always so sexist. It's like, well, what do you think? Men are that much better than women? Well, in certain strength kind of things, and they are. And
men's bodies are different than women.
You can hurt somebody really, really bad.
There's a reason why you have to take puberty blockers.
That's exactly
and blocking pills to change the format of the body. It's very simple. It's black and white science. However, when politics comes into play, when people in politics take science, black and white truths, and try to change them for political purposes, then the confusion comes in. And it shouldn't even be confusion, but then you start going after young kids and changing their mindset. I cannot believe I've got a couple friends who work with the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, and one was almost crying one day on a podcast because the Blues weren't recognizing transgenders, and this guy is super intelligent. He has a great heart, but he just can't understand why can't they be competing together? Why can't we get sex changes? And I'm like, and kids, and I'm like, oh my God.
It's scary to me that there are people out there that exist that are okay,
but not
with changing a child's body. I don't get it. We talk about other countries that sexually mutilate children and how horrible that is. But it's okay in this country to change a male to a female to a male. And I'll tell you what, if you've seen the photos, that's extensive.
And once again, this show's been about kids, the kids with the gender reason. I mean, the adult situation.
Can do whatever they want to do.
We just want to make sure, because we have new listeners coming in every day, about where we are from that standpoint.
If you're over 18 and you make the
vote,
decision,
if you can't vote,
that's your choice.
You can't drink. you can't do things that an adult does, you certainly shouldn't be doing that or given the opportunity, even if a parent wants to change you and your sex. I'm sorry, which is why it's.
And a lot of the things that I sit here on this show, because I'll go listen to our shows, is we're reacting to something that is really dark. We're reacting to a lot of stuff in this country right now that's really dark. Prosecutors letting crime go rampant, transsexuals being able to beat the crap out of smaller females. We're in a time period that is confusing to people who just want a normal life. And that's and that's the weirdest part of it, is that we sit on this panel every day trying to defend and make sense of any of this stuff. And sometimes you just go, this is crazy and wrong. Move on to the next topic.
Speaking of which,
this is crazy and wrong.
It is.
Move on to the next topic.
We appreciate everybody jumping in today for another show. It went by fast. It is literally the fastest 2 hours in podcasting anywhere. We're grateful for you guys jumping in. We're grateful for our new sponsors. We're thankful for OAN jumping in with us, One American News Network, Greenlight Dispensaries jumping in with us from an advertising standpoint. Tabitha, we're working on a meat locker sponsor for you too, by the way.
Good.
I got a meeting today. We'll have to figure this out.
That's where we're going to put Tabitha's money, is in the meat locker.
I am getting ready to stock up on meats, believe it or not.
And we're going to be knocking on her door.
Because, did you guys know, remember we had Scott Fawn on the show, and Scott Fawn from Missouri Times was talking about mRNA vaccines into animals.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, well, you know what? Missouri has Smithfield Farms. Well, Smithfield Farms just announced they are leaving Missouri. So that means our Missouri meat is unprotected.
Well, I've got some.
I'm not going to comment what you just said. I'm going to leave that one just sitting there.
Maybe we'll get into
Missouri meat now at the pageant.
Now you have no idea.
I'll leave you with this. I'll leave you with this. That fire that happened yesterday on Highway 270, that was the prosecutor that got killed. He was supposed to testify at a Kim Garner thing today.
Yeah, it's bad.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's a bad situation. Terrible for his family.
What was he testifying about?
I thought he was still I thought he was still on the team.
He is. He was her assistant.
Like maybe he was deposed and to testify against Kim Garner.
I can guarantee you that guy was right in line with her. He's extremely liberal.
Extremely liberal. On her
You think
side.
so?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's part of the team.
Absolutely so.
Eric Johnson, Tabitha Hassel, I'm Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks. Thank you for taking care of the chat line as always. Pro Joe making things happen on the boards. Tomorrow for our Free For All Paranormal Friday, promote, subscribe, like. We're talking dinosaurs. We're getting
that tomorrow?
And mud fossils.
8:30. And what else are we talking? You said mud fossils?
Mud fossils.
And
do
you
your
said
homework tonight and
these are
study
giants?
the mud fossils.
You said they're
if you can believe, my whole point tomorrow, and has always been,
I can't wait.
that if you can believe in dinosaur bones and dinosaur fossils,
Here we go.
then you also must admit that the same process took place with mud fossils.
And we're going
if
to have
there can be dinosaur fossils, then there are mud fossils.
And we're going to have Bing on set with us tomorrow, confirming or denying everything that Tabitha says.
Chat GTP yesterday.
GPT.
And it locked up and couldn't even give me an answer.
All right. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Hey, guys, thank you for joining us for CancelTheShow.com. We'll see you for our Great Friday show, the May 5th edition tomorrow.
Yeah. Cinco de